Today. We're going to be doing a bunch of building. It's cold outside. It's really cold outside. Our toilet levels have dropped water wise because we've got some, vent pipe has got a little ice in it. So we're going to have to work on that a little later today if it doesn't thaw out. Start warming it up. So we've been having really cold temps here. A lot of you know that because you've been getting them too. We've had I think we were like minus 40 on Friday. Yesterday we were sitting minus 20s, and we're finally heading to a warming trend now this next week, so that'll be good. But today's a great day just to sit inside and work on the layout. So that's what we're doing. We're going to start the work on the third tower. As you can see, I've got all the panels out from back here. I've been working on those this week, getting them ready to go for the build. And we're going to do that today. And we're also going to, in addition to building the skyscraper, we're going to put all these beams in right here, try to start finishing this platform up. If we have time, we'll do some weathering. Also, I've got 2 cars that I didn't get back around to this week because I was working on the building, getting it ready for today. So we will get to doing that. And then we'll probably, after we get this stuff built, we'll do a little testing. I'm not going to do a whole lot of running today because I'm starting to rack up the time on my engines, and I don't have a whole lot of engines to rotate through. So I don't want to get a lot of hours initially here until we really start to get things done. So boy, this really is the cold and everything is really changing this. I didn't put many nails in, and I'll take care of doing that later. I'm just not going to mess with that. So we are going to be working on. We'll start off today with the skyscraper, and then we will move to this. And like I said, then if we have any extra time, we'll head to the cars. So we were checking out, I guess, Amherst. We were watching there was a big train show in Amherst back east this weekend, and we looked at they had videos, virtual rail was there, so they popped up 4 cameras. So yesterday crowd seemed pretty decent because they weren't getting the weather yet. They're getting hammered today, and it looks like a lot of the dealers and everything have already left. So I'm hoping they reduced entry fee for people for today. There was no notice about it or anything because people are going to be brave getting out in that today. So
Scale Layout says, "Hey everyone, good morning. Copies up from snowy Geneva, Illinois."
Oh, Geneva, Illinois. You're not very far from us. And who is this?
Jeff's N-Scale Layout. I think it's tracks to N-Scale.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, you're not far from us at all. So great. Yeah, it's good. Good morning to have a good something warm to drink, coffee, hot chocolate, whatever. A little cold in the train room today, even though this is on the 2nd floor and heat rises. It's still a little cold in here, but it'll be good enough for what I've got to do today. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun. So we'll do just a quick little tour around like we always do before we get started with the work. I've got my wax paper all set down right now to start dealing with the side panels and everything. What I'm hoping to do is get all the side panels together. I think my base pieces are right here. This is the back wall section for this, for the third tower, the Leviathan, but I do believe these are my inserts and my base pieces. So I'm going to need to have those anyway. So we'll get those. We'll put those over here with the grouping. So we'll be.
I'm north of you guys, mostly been sub-zero here. Had 2 inches of snow just doing snow.
Oh yeah. We're sub-zero too, but we didn't get nearly. We didn't get the snow with this round. We were north of the line for this round. We got our snow the past few snows that came through over the past couple of weeks. But this time we just got the cold. Fortunately, it looks like about midweek it's going to start to warm up, and it looks like by next weekend we're back into the 20s and 30s. It looks like it's going to stay that way. I looked at the extended, so it looks like it's going to be back to normal temperatures this time of year, high 20s, low 30s. So, but they forecast this. I saw this back a month and a half ago. Said we were going to have a nice beginning to January, and then the end was going to be really cold and lots of snow. So they nailed it perfectly. That snow bomb is what they're calling it. That's ripping right through the middle of the country right now. They said this is going to be like one of the worst snows in a long time to hit a lot of people. I mean, I saw snow on the feeds as low down in Arkansas and Kentucky's and all those areas. So it's it's pretty good sized storm. So anyway, so
Says I had to rip up some of my track and asks, where are you?
we are in Beloit, Wisconsin. We are, it's roughly right on the border of Illinois and Wisconsin central part. So we're in kind of a really good area. I mean, we get snow in the wintertime and the cold, but a lot of it either goes to our north or goes to our south. So we're kind of like in this little area where the storms come in and they just go like that around us. So it's been that way ever since we've been here. I think there's only been like 1 year that was really, really bad, and we had to shovel like every weekend. There was snow every weekend, but that was only like 1 year out of the 20 years that we've been here. So that's not too bad. Normally we get about maybe 2 feet of snow for the entire season, so it's not that much. It's not that much at all. Anyway.
Great says, good morning from a cold, intense Minneapolis. Looking forward to a nice distraction.
Oh, good. I'm glad you joined us. You're back again. So, yeah, I was watching the Minneapolis virtual rail there in St. Paul, the intermodal yard, and it looked like there's a fairly decent amount of snow up there. Of course, you guys are getting the cold like we are, so I think we're getting less cold than you are. Further north you get, obviously, the colder it gets. So I saw places in northern Wisconsin that were getting like minus 60 with the wind chill over the past couple of days. That's just ridiculous cold. So, so we're here. We're going to have some fun. We're going to work on buildings. We're going to just do all kinds of stuff. You'll get to see, like I said, you're going to get to see this new building start today. We have about, close to half of it printed, a little more than half of it printed now. I've got some panels down here on the floor that aren't going to be put in today because today he's printing the rest of the second level. Everything's done in levels. I just, I kind of divide things by level. Like this is a level here. So we have basically we're putting this level together today, which actually comes up to about right here. And then we have most of the second level, which goes up to about right there. And then we have our upper level. So by the time the day's over with, we will have the rest of the second level printed. Yep.
Okay, Jeff says I go by you all the time when I'm heading up to Nagusa and Rome, Wisconsin.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're on a main interstate, two actually. We have shared interstates that go through here on the same road. I think it's 39, 90, I can't remember what else, but we have a lot of interstates that go through here that go everywhere. I mean, we go up to Minneapolis, north part of the state, and then these interstates go all the way down. I mean, they connect into Chicago and St. Louis and everywhere. So we're just kind of like this little hub right here that we get a lot of traffic through this area. So, yep, it's a good place to be. All right. This is in. Even though the building looks huge, it's really huge for in scale. I mean, this is big for HO, but this is in scale. We have a small room. This is only I only have about a 7 foot by a little less than 9 foot space. So we have 2 levels. Right now we're working on the upper level with the city. I haven't even begun to think about what I'm doing down here. I know this is going to be mostly scenery, mountains. Well, I don't know. We'll probably have a roundhouse yards down here. Not a roundhouse, but an actual station service area down on the lower level with a helix over there that'll get to all of it. So I'm trying to pack as much as I can into such a small space. So we'll do a little quick tour here, show you guys everything, and then we'll start working on the building.
Greg Norman asks, what town are you in?
We're in Beloit. We are in Beloit, Wisconsin. So we are just on the border of Illinois and Wisconsin. All right, let me get my glasses on so I can see what you guys are seeing. Where did I put my glasses? Oh, there they are.
Jeff says I'm off the 90. I have friends in Genoa, Beloit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. You know, a lot of people right in our area.
Oh. Says, cool, I love it.
Yeah, I do too. I used to be an HO all my life, but I've really started to get into the N, obviously. And with 3D printing, we were able to do all of this. Otherwise, I couldn't build this in HO. So this would be like 7 foot tall. So it's just the right size for doing monstrous things we want to do in a very small space. So we are, so anyway, all of this is city. This whole upper level is all city that we're doing. This will have a total of about 25 to 30 of the skyscrapers wrapped around through all 3 areas here within the next probably 6 months. Our next step will be, once we get done with the Leviathan that's here, we're going to be doing the tower, the convention center It's a huge one. He's going to start printing that this week. So we've got all of the track here. And you can see I'm getting some bowing right now because of the weather. So I'll get things readjusted and I'll get it all lined up. And then by the time I get road bed down, it'll all be straight and everything will be done. So we've got just a few things I've got to deal with. And this is mostly just because of the cold and everything that we've had. Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, work on it. It'll work itself out. Oh, okay. So we 3D print all of our big buildings. So if you get yourself a 3D printer, it takes a while to do, but they look great. It takes, I think it took us about 4 days to print this one entirely, and it took us about 3 to print this one, and then only a few days to get it all put together. So we are. I'm just trying to look here and see. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set the camera up because we're going to work right here today. And this is what I'm putting together. Here's the next set of panels that makes the next big station, or not station, big skyscraper. So we got 3 walls we have to build that are 3 pieces each. And then we've got foundations and inserts that we'll be using to strengthen them. And then I'll set it over here just kind of temporarily. I really think it's probably going to go right here, and I'm going to move this one this way just a little ways. But I'm going to put the big one because the Leviathan, which is what we're working on right now, is going to be our tallest tower. It'll probably be about that much taller than the one I've got right there right now. So I want to put the tallest one in the middle, flanked on either side. So that's what we're working on. So I'm going to put this, get this camera, let my son come in and get this set up to where you're going to be aiming down at the work area. I could definitely set and put enough nails into stuff. I'm going to have to come in here and really work on straightening everything. Okay. Where you at? Right here. I just need it focused right in there.
Yep. Let's see. Great Northern says, I'm talking with the local shop about trading in my HO stuff for N scale.
Oh.
Space is an issue for me too. Heading to a club open house Saturday to see some N in action and make my final decision.
Oh, well, there you go. That's the best thing to do is go out and take a look and see if you like what you see. I agree. That's a perfect way to do it. So, and if you can get a good deal, if your local hobby shop won't give you a good deal on it, just put it on Facebook Marketplace. I've sold a lot of HO stuff on Facebook Marketplace, and I've gotten really good prices on pretty much everything. So that would be my recommendation: is start locally, but then just get to where you can just meet with people. All right.
Let's see. Master of Puns says, add Japan's Ferris wheel or add T-Mobile Park and Lumen Field from Seattle.
We are putting a Ferris wheel in. We actually kind of hinted at that a little while ago. It'll be over, excuse me, by the station over here where we're going to be working a little later today when we're working on the platform for the station. It's actually going to be part of the main downtown area. It'll be a really cool looking thing when we get done with it.
Boy, the camera's like pulsing. I think it has to do with the light there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Let's hang on. I probably don't need it.
Yep,
Is it the
that's
light?
what did it.
Okay.
I was trying to focus on.
Yeah, that was one of those LED odd colored lights.
Mhm.
So, okay.
Goober says trains.
Trains, yes, they are. All right, so I've got to figure out what's what because every one of these panels is a little different. We have a little wider panel for the back because it overlaps the back panel. The back panel is an insert. So when this one comes up, and the front panel is actually overlaps this one. So we made it to where everything is even, but we got to make sure I keep the right pieces with each other, just to make sure. You'll see, like for example, this. Nope. I got to make sure which is top and which is bottom too. So this is the base piece. It doesn't have the window insets don't start until about right here. Everything else is flush. So then this is the piece that goes with this. You can tell by the width of the side pieces here. And I do have to do a little bit of filing top and bottom just to get everything to line up really well. But that's roughly what we're going to be doing. And then this is the final top piece. So this right here, this is what's going to make up the foundation of this new building. So this, the other foundation for the Mako, which is our tallest one so far, is only about this tall. So this shows you how much taller this one is going to be. It's going to be quite a bit taller. So I need to get a file, and I need to come in here and take care of getting all of that filed down nice and smooth. Do this now while I'm thinking about it. I bought some new brushes to clean these with, but I'm just going to go ahead and still, until I have no bristles left on this one, I'm just going to keep using this brush. No sense in wasting them. So all I'm going to do here is just make sure I don't have any little ridges along these front edges that's not going to allow this to sit flat. This is going to be, could you bring in a couple of those overlays?
Oh, yeah.
So I can show what the details of this is going to be?
Sure.
This is actually going to have some really cool overlays on the surface itself. We didn't print them on here because I wanted to be able to sand everything smooth. So we're winding up doing overlays instead. So I'll show you what that looks like here in a sec.
There you go.
Oh, that's nice and smooth now. Okay.
Got two of the little ones, one of the big guys.
One of the big guys. Okay. So this is a side panel. These are the walls that go on the side. So you can see here, this is an overlay. I'll kind of try to reflect this a little bit so you can kind of see how the layers of the printing are. So I use a palm sander and I get this all nice and smooth like I've done this. So what this will do on this is on the sides, we are going to have an overlay like this.
Hoover says my stepbrother collected a bunch of NCL before he passed, and they aren't complete. Now I've been trying to learn about all of it before I get through trying to figure out what to do with it all.
Well, just take your time, do your research on the N scale. You'll find a lot of resources online that'll help you with that. Okay, so.
Sorry to hear about your brother.
Oh, yeah. Sorry to hear about your brother. This is the side panel, so each side and the back, both sides on either side of the building will have this panel that goes up. When I get to gluing the front panel, I'll show you the pieces that we're going to put on the front. So this will just give a nice little, when you're looking at it from a 3/4 view, this will give you a nice little relief. You'll have some good shadows working with this overlay. So this building will have these, and it'll go all the way up the sides, and even including all the way up, even the step-in sides that we have up above up here. So that, that's looking like it's lining up pretty good. We were concerned about the window lineup on this. I'm still going to have to figure out what to do about the overlays, but I think I have figured it out as far as the windows go, how I'm going to get that to work. But anyway, so that, yeah, so that'll show you what this is going to look like on the sides. It's going to look really neat. And the front has 2 pieces, but I'll show you those when we get to them. All right, let me.
It says, do you make your own files, or is there a site you can get the files from?
These are modified files we got from online. We went to Thingiverse. We just typed in skyscrapers and we started looking. And this building, all the buildings we've done were single files. They were just meant to be printed, and they were really small buildings. I think they were just like a little desktop thing you're supposed to have that you could display at work or something. And they were, I think they were only going to print like this tall for this entire building that we now have that's going to be 6 foot tall. So what my son does is when we get the file downloaded is he goes in and he adjusts, he cuts all the sides down. He cuts the face off, the sides off, everything. And we size it to the size we want for in scale. We make sure these windows are appropriate sizes, doors are appropriate sizes, and then he creates the panels that we use. And then we can just sit and print off as tall as we want to make it by just adding more panels. Because what I'll do when we get to the stage is I'll fill all this in with putty, and you won't ever see where these panels were, how big these panels were. It'll look like one solid piece when we get done with it. So that's where the building part comes in, to make up having multiple panels for a print versus just doing a single print. I'm just seeing if I can get this is with as little gap as I can possibly get. So it's kind of out on the end, so what I'm assuming is it's in here that we have an issue towards the center. And that should bring us together a little bit more. As long as it feels solid, I'm fine with it. As long as when I do this, I don't see it go back and forth like that. As long as it's not doing that, then I know I'm okay. So I'm going to do just a little out of the middle right here. Yeah, that'd be good. A stationary diorama would be fine. You can always start and then just expand from there. There we go. Okay, so like before, I'll show you the glue I use. Since this is PLA filament, as I've discussed in the past, it doesn't take regular super glue won't do it. Regular plastic glues won't do it. You have to use a special glue, and we found one called Bondtech. We're not being sponsored by them, but here, I'll get this up a little closer. It's made specifically for PLA material, and it acts just like this other glue that I really love, the Testers, which is for styrene and other types. It's just like that. It dries so quick. You just have to keep the this clear and clean, because I had a disaster first time I tried using one of the bottles. I wound up, if you don't come in and clean everything off after you're done, everything, I thought I was getting it completely clean, but it wasn't, and it was still sticking, and I wound up just ruining almost a bottle because I was having to cut holes just to get the glue to come out, because I was getting part of the lid stuck in there. So it just didn't, it's a little learning process, just like it's a learning process how to use that Tester's bottle. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to put glue on this side here, because putting little drops on that's a real pain. So all we're going to do is turn this, and I'm going to get all of the sanding stuff off, and we're just going to put a bead right down, whole way. I can't remember which side this is. I'll have to look here and think about this for a minute, but I think this is the left side of the building. I'll know here in a sec. Now, I get a paper towel, because I get a little crazy sometimes with glue, and just like super glue, you don't want too much, so I'll just come in here and dab, 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 just to get that little bit of excess off of there, so you don't have any big areas of it built up. You might be able to, but I don't know if you'd want anything getting down inside the bottle. I wouldn't do it just because of that. I wouldn't want to have a chance of anything going down in. All right, so here's where I've got to line everything up, and I've got to make sure I have it all right, because this stuff, when you push this together, you're pretty much done. You got to make sure everything's lined up perfectly to start off with, and then this does not take any time at all for this to set. I'm just pushing in kind of hard, which is hard because I've got this really sanded well, it's really slick on the surface. So it makes it a challenge to get a good pressure pushing in, because my hands are just slipping on this. But it was worth it, because it looks like a big, beautiful side of a building without any of that layering that 3D print does. All right, we'll just get this. It'll only take a few seconds here. All right, that should be probably pretty good. Then what I got to do is just make sure it's not stuck to the wax paper. This is why I glue on wax paper. Is for just about any of the really heavy glues, is nothing sticks to it, or if it does, it pops almost immediately. Now I did see where I had a little bit of glue kind of go over the edge so I don't have any built up. I'll just come in and I'll make sure these areas are pretty well cleaned out. So this should be pretty dry pretty quick. Now I can get down at the back. I can push from either end because this is flush. I was pushing here in the middle, so I made sure these seams were going to be more flat to each other. If I was pushing on the end, we might have had some rise up while it was setting, and I would have had uneven surfaces. So now that I know it's flat, I can sit here and I can push from the ends just to make sure we've got a really good seal. Now this one over here, I'll have to put the glue on the ends because I'm not going to pick this whole thing up. I'm going to let it keep setting because it's within just a few minutes here, it'll be ready to move off the table completely. So this one I'll have to do the ends. I don't like putting them on these little things like this because it just gets messy, but we'll have to do that on this one. Try to get all this sanding stuff off. So all I'm doing is just putting a little dab on each section. Fortunately, it doesn't feel like I have an air bubble trying to work itself out and just pumping glue out. So usually when I first open up the bottle, I'll have that happen. And I'll just get a whole bunch at once. That's why I keep the paper towel handy. Well, didn't quite get enough down here at this end. I always kind of turn the whatever I'm gluing into the reflection of the light to make sure I have glue in every space that I need to have it. So now we're just going to come in here and we're just going to dab things just a little bit. Get the big glops out of the way. Okay. So same thing we just did. I'm going to have to do this to where line it up perfectly. We're ready to go, and then push from kind of the inside here to make sure it's flush. Okay. I think we're pretty good with that. All right, so now we'll just make sure everything's kind of flat. This is all down and flat, flat, and flat there. And we'll just, come on, there we go. If it slides on you like that, it just means that I had a little too much glue on there, so this is going to take a little extra drying time. It's going to get there, but it's going to take a little extra drying time. I should have dabbed more off to start off with. Now, once it gets flat like that, then I'll be able to push from the ends. And then it'll really start to set. It's flush right here. It's pretty good. And I was actually smart this time. I didn't get in such a hurry that I didn't get everything done ahead of time. So all those areas like you see me do in the past where I forgot to use the Dremel and grind the back sides of these where I have to glue other things too to get it smooth. I got that done this time. So I actually spent a lot of time the past few days just prepping to make sure this is going to go as smoothly as possible. Still probably going to have hiccups, but at least the basic stuff will be doing pretty good. Now, I think I might have room if I push these out of the way. I might have room just to push this down. I might be able to do a second wall right here without having to take this off the table, so I can let it sit a little more. Let's see, am I going to have room? Some more paper out there, some more of the wax paper out there. Looks like I might have room, which I'd like to do because I'd like to put this here. Well, I'll do this one on the bigger joint, this one here, just to kind of keep things flat. So let's see if I can do another one beside it here, if I've got room or not. Oh, well, it's close. If I spread this out here like this, I think, so I can go that way a little bit with it. And I'll just pull some more of the wax paper out from underneath. Okay, yeah, I can do the two panels side by side. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. This is the front panel. So what we're going to do with the front panel, this will be every level, this level, and the levels that go subsequent up that get smaller and smaller. This is the detail. These are the overlay details that we're going to have for the front. Oh, these are add-on ones here. I thought, say, where's the bottom of these? So these are ones that are add-ons for the taller. So there is one that has a bottom piece that comes across right here. but we leave this like this, open like this, so that when we glue them together like we did here, it's the same. But anyway, just to give you an idea of what this is going to look like. So this will be here on this side, and this one will be on this side. So you'll have these two here, and then you'll have those flat ones on the sides. So it's going to make some really nice details, good shadows, like I said. So when we have the lights, different angles on the lights and everything, you'll be able to get some really nice shadowing, depending on which way we're looking at it. And it really does stack it up kind of nicely there. So I like that detail. So if we had printed this on here, it would have been a lot harder for me to have sanded this initial piece to get everything done the way I needed to get it done. Now all I've got to do is just sand these pieces, and this is going to be a different process because I'm not going to actually be applying these until the very end. Even though they'll be glued together and everything will be set and they'll be sanded and glued together, all three pieces together like that. In order to get, so you don't have I've been thinking about all this stuff ahead of time. Instead of having a double deep window recess to where your window pane isn't glued in back here, if you look how deep that's going to be, that would look really goofy. Having the window pane set that far back inside there, the window glazing on the inside of the building. So what we're going to do, the way we're going to handle this is we'll have everything painted, everything done. We'll have this where it's smooth, so smooth that when I attach this, there'll be no gaps along the sides. So what we'll do when we get to that point, everything will be painted, everything will be finished, dull coat on, the whole works, everything, the main building will be assembled. We'll just have these strips on the side. So then I'll come in here and I'll glue the window glazing, just real thin piece right here. And then that way, when you put this on here, it'll only just be the single window depth deep. And then I'll just put the bead of glue on either side and then get it down nice and flush. So that will, what I'm probably going to wind up doing on these particularly is I'll probably grind out just a little bit of an area around the windows themselves so that the window glazing will recess down in just a little bit. So it'll leave this flush. So I'm trying to think ahead on all this to make it as easy as possible. And these are all these little things you got to kind of have to consider. So I really think that's going to look great though, going up, having that on either side and having the windows bumped out like that. So that's how that's going to look going all the way up. The next part of the tower is smaller and more inset, but there's enough room on the roof panel of this section for these little bump outs to continue going up on the next section. So that's how we got this worked out. So it's going to look really good. This is just going to look like a box when we get it up onto the layout today until I start getting these done and sanded and put together, and then I'll just temporarily put a little tape back behind so I can hold them up in place and so I can get the overall look of everything. So, but that's how we're going to go with that. All right. So, just like before, got to make sure we have this all right. We got the right ones going to the right ones. These should all be this is all the front piece. I think this is the front piece. Yes, because I don't have the back pieces. I don't have the back inset piece sanded yet. So, this is all these sections right here. You can see how big this is going to be. The face is just, this is how wide the building is going to be. It's going to be a little deeper than it is wide in the front, which is fine. So now I just want to make sure I have everything sanded. Make sure everything will be nice and smooth and flush when we're trying to put it all together. And then we'll have 2/3 of what we're building here today done. And then we'll move on to the platform for the station. How's that? Well, that's pretty good. I may just make sure we're going to get it good smooth. We don't have any, because the 3D printing will actually put a little bit of a ridge on it. So you just want to make sure that's all knocked down and flat so that when you have the glue, it makes a good contact with the bulk of the flat part of each of these areas. Yeah, that's pretty good. So then we'll just flip this around and do this. This is the only thing I forgot to do when I was grinding everything on the back. I'll show you what I did on the back. See, when I was talking about how I'm grinding, I have areas ground down for gluing to it. So these side panels are going to glue to this here and here. So I've taken the Dremel and I've ground this flat on both edges to give me a good bonding space for that. It's just all little things you gotta deal with, the steps you gotta make sure you get. And I gotta make sure I do everything in the proper order and it's all going the right direction too. See, that's the one thing about 3D print versus standard kit is 9 times out of 10 you're not going to get any instructions, especially since this was a single file. It was never meant to be built like this. It was just meant to be printed, a small little building this tall for your desktop. It was never meant to become a massive building. So when you do that, you just kind of have to realize that and then just adjust for the extra work that you got to do on figuring stuff out. Okay, so we'll get the glue here. By the time I'm done with gluing this one will be strong enough for me to move out of the way. I'll be able to slide this one this way and get that last wall done. And then by the time I get that last wall done, these two will be ready to be glued together, which we'll start to do, and then we'll start putting the braces in. Now we've decided to back off a little bit on how much we're going to run until I get more engines. I said that at the beginning if you weren't with us then. I'm just putting too much time on the 3 or 4 engines that I have. I want to get a little more inventory before we start. Doggone it. Before we start doing a lot of hourly runs. Okay, so we're going to look here. I want to make sure I get enough off this time so it doesn't slide on me. So again, I just put a little bit on and I'm just going to dab a little bit off. There we go. All right, so same thing as before. We just want to make sure we get it lined up really good right off the bat. That's pretty good. All right, so now again, we're going to be here in the middle so we get all of these pushed down at the same level. So not that we don't have a high ridge in the middle. And then once we've got this kind of setting up, I'll push from the ends and really get a good bond with it going. We're doing all right. I was going to go ahead and just do this, but I know you guys I've had enough comments about it, like watching me put this stuff together, so that's why I went ahead and I would have already had it done by now. But we're still in the middle of printing, so it really wouldn't have mattered anyway, because today like I said, we're printing off the rest of the second level. This being the first level. Okay, make sure I can move this so the glue isn't stuck to the wax paper. Nope. All right. Now it's amazing the static this thing has retained since the sanding. Every little bit of dust just adheres to the surface. And today I think we'll finish up, a little later, we'll finish up weathering those other 2 container cars. So I've got the 3 done. And then probably this week we will do a little run a little later when I come in and I start working on the track some more. So I'm going to get all these little kinks and everything from the weather out of the way. It's just because it's been so cold. All right, so again, we're just going to make sure we're nice and lined up here. Okay, now I'll just press this in, make sure everything is good and snug around there and level. There, so that one was up a little bit, so I'm going to make sure that one's pressed down a little bit right here on this end and on that end too, so that it'll be flush. Just give it a sec here, and then I'll push from the end. All right. I'm really pushing hard right now. You can actually see on my fingertips all the red. I mean, I'm really pushing as hard as I can and trying to keep from slipping on this nice, freshly sanded surface. Okay. Yeah, all right. So now we'll just kind of push everything here. I'm having a hard time right here. I'm going to work on this. I'm going to hold right here for just a little bit longer. make sure that gets on there because I can see it moving. We're just going to get that done. I'll take that one out and transfer the bottles of paint to this one so that I'll keep it nice and flat. Okay. That's pretty good now. Now that end is really coming in there. Okay. We're pretty good. Let's put it this way. I don't think I'm going to be able to adjust it anymore anyway. All right, so move these out of the way. And this one should be dry. I need a place to put that one. Let's see here. I'm going to move this. I'm going to set it across the top of my work tote for right now. So I don't want to put it on any of the track or anything up on the bench work because the glue on the backside may still be a little wet here and there. And I don't want to stick it to anything. All right. So here we go. Yep, it's good and solid. Let me take. Yep, it's nice and good enough until we start gluing them together, and I'll reinforce everything. Yep, perfect. Okay. So now I can move this one to the back and get the last panel done. Because like I said, I'm not going to glue the last pieces together. I don't even have them sanded yet. Oh, well, thank you. That's the wonderful. Let me. I'll reiterate that. Anytime anybody sends anything, it goes straight into the layout. We don't keep any of that for anything personal, so we can just keep bringing you more content. So any of the gifts or the super chats or anything just goes straight into stuff here, so we can just keep working on this and keep bringing you guys fresh videos and fresh live streams every week. We had a really nice time last weekend at the display in Janesville. One of the local groups was had their layout up there, and it's a good group. We see them quite a bit at the local shows. It's the WISIL, Wisconsin Illinois Modular Group. You can find them on Facebook. Sure. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much for that. We really do appreciate it. That second one was just more than generous. Thank you very much for the jewels. We really do appreciate it. I'm glad you've enjoyed this to where you wanted to do it, that it's something that you like. So we're trying to bring good content, basic good content, that give you guys some tips, hints, and things like that on how to do this stuff. So thank you very much. And who was that? Medic. Okay, thank you. All right, so how are we doing here? Oh, that one came out actually pretty good. That one's like one of the best filed ones so far. All right, so let's. Anyway, we put up a good video, so it's you can watch it on our regular video stream. It's got a walk around tour of the layout up in Janesville. They had on display, like I said, at the library, and some really good stuff running. It had a lot of local, obviously. So there's a lot of Wisconsin Southern, some Chicago Northwestern. There was some BNSF, and some really good little areas that they have built up. Some good industry and some good city. Sure.
Medic says, I love watching the live streams. I don't think anything.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad you've been along with us. That was Medic.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you. I'm glad you've enjoyed them. Hi, Mark. Yes, this is. I'm working on some in-scale buildings. Well, it's a skyscraper that's going to go up. I will, as soon as I get this done and the U shape here made, we'll be putting it up on the layout. And you'll be able to see the other skyscrapers that we have in the city downtown that we're working on. And that'll probably be about maybe 10-15 minutes from now after I get this glued and we start getting the walls put together in an upright manner. So yeah, this is, and it's in scale. It's a model train layout, all in scale. This is going to be our tallest building to date. This will be our third one. The next one's going to be even taller than this one. I really don't know how much further we can go because we're going to be pushing from the bench work. We're going to be almost up to the ceiling. with just this one. So the next one we're only going to be able to maybe, even though the taller, probably like maybe 2 or 3 inches more. This guy probably, when he's done, will be close to a 4-foot height. So I'm looking at the ceiling. I probably have about maybe 4.5 is about what I have from the top of the pink foam to the ceiling. So we'll be getting pretty close with the next one after this. The next one is going to be like I said, the convention center. We're probably going to be, we probably reverted back to doing the 2 towers on the convention center off of the one base foundation. Well, that really came out good. Nice and smooth. So, and after that, we'll start, and that's going to be the Gemini building because 2 towers being, 2 Gemini. So that'll be the Gemini complex. And then after that, we'll be working on the Alexandria, which I'm going to find an STL file for the big building in downtown Los Angeles, that one that has the round top. To me, it's always looked like a lighthouse with that top like that. So if I can get a good STL file, we're gonna do that one, and we'll call it the Alexandria because in the 7 wonders of the world, one of them was the Alexandria Lighthouse. So we'll call that the Alexandria. Okay. Hey, glad you joined us from Florida.
Late start on the mower today.
Oh, okay.
Medic says, my name's Amber, I'm a paramedic, and I do miniatures, Legos, etc. to wind down after work.
Oh, well, I bet that's a really good release, Amber, for that, especially with that kind of a job. I can understand having to have something to take your mind off of it all. Great hobby to do, and it does. You don't really think about anything else when you're working on this stuff. So I'm glad you found a good hobby that really helps.
Franklin Park says, can I have tips from Bob Craig?
Well, that's what we're doing, Franklin Park. I'm showing you guys how I build stuff. And my techniques are not always, the best. It's what works for me. So you'll find a lot of tips here. We've done a lot of stuff on scenery, on track, and I could already see that I just was not preparing myself for the kind of temperatures we were getting. My track is all kind of bowing in spots, so I'll have to come in and add a bunch of nails and stuff. But we'll do that. And then once I actually get the road bed in, that'll stop all that. We'll never have that happening again. Because the road bed will glue everything in place. It's just right now while we're before we do road bed. So it'll just make it'll make me want to have to do road bed faster.
RC says I get to start my bench work this week with the extension of my layout.
Oh, excellent. So that I'm glad you're going to get started doing the bench work. Now, is that the bench work that's going to go into the living room then? With the tunnel? Or is this still in the dining room?
He also asks, is it cold up there? Asking for a friend.
Yes, it is cold up here. Friday was minus 40 with the wind chill, a little over minus 40 with the wind chill. And this morning was minus 14 with the wind chill. But we are heading for our warm up now.
It says correct the living room.
Correct living. Okay, cool.
Franklin Park says, not going to lie, MCO is too small for my hand.
That's all right. The techniques I show here will not only work for N scale, but work for HO as well. Or any other scale. Do what?
That's what he has.
He has an HO? Okay, yeah. So and the things I'm doing here will work for HO as well. I mean, this building right here, if you look at this could be an HO building if I really wanted it to be. So, but it is scaled for N scale, but by making the doors a little bit bigger at the bottom, this could easily be HO. So, what we're doing works for pretty much all scales. It's you're going to use the same, pretty much techniques and everything in each scale. So I'm just concentrating here just a little bit, making sure I'm seeing how everything came out because I did wind up getting a bow here that I'm going to have to grind down.
RC says it's 83 degrees here with a wind chill of 90.
83 with a wind chill of 90. Yeah, isn't that weird? Our real feel here, our actual ambient temperature here, like yesterday, our temperature here was -2, but the real feel with the wind chill had us at a +3. So I don't know how, with the wind chill and everything, you can actually go in the positive direction from a negative, but it did. So.
Joe Luther says I have an Nokia layout, small layout upgrade.
Oh, I'm glad you. Who's this?
Joe.
Joe. Okay. Well, great. I'm glad you're tuned in and are watching us struggle through another skyscraper.
Franklin Park says, nice, what material is the building?
Okay, this is a 3D printed building. So the material on this is a PLA filament that comes out of the printer. So, I mean, it's basically a plastic, but it's a little different because you have to use a special glue for it. Typical super glue or plastics glue won't work. But I use this Bondtech stuff, and it does just as good as any super glue does, and it's pretty fast. I mean, I'll be able to start handling this section here within about less than 5 minutes. Okay, so we're going to take this guy off here. We're going to push that to the back, and I'm going to try to get myself enough work room right here to start assembling the walls. They are a lot bigger than I was expecting and thinking. I mean, I knew I was getting big walls, but this is going to prove to be interesting. Okay, so let's get this guy up and moved. You see it's already ready to go. So, yeah. All right, so I'm going to set this down here for right now. I'm going to move this back so I can put the weights on it. Get it pushed all the way back here. Put that there, put this here. We'll give this just a second. I'm going to have the, there's no way of getting around it. I'm going to have the entire table area here to put this together. So I'm just going to let this dry for just a second. And again, like I said, this is, what is this? This is another side piece. So we will be having overlays. If you missed it earlier, we will be having overlays that go up the sides like this. It'll come up all the way. It'll give us a nice little shadow area. We have the two that go on either side of the doors on the front sections that'll be going all the way up. So it's not just a flat building, but we won't apply those until the very, very end when we get to the point of everything's painted. Pretty much all the assembly is done on the main tower, and we're ready to do our final assembly. And then I'll put the windows in those, and we'll glue them to the surface.
Franklin Park says, oh, I might use cardboard and paint it to make it more stable.
Yeah, I've seen people do a lot of work with cardboard, cardstock, foam core. They've made really great buildings out of those materials. I actually did a little project with some foam core, and it actually came out fairly decent. The only problem was I used the wrong glue on it, and I wound up melting it. Otherwise, I would have had a really decent little transfer building out of it. But that's when I was working with HO stuff too. So, all right. I need to see here. This is going to be, I'm going to have to do a little sanding right here and here, well, filing right here and here, just to make sure I get a flush mount when we do this. Okay, so here are pieces for foundation and inserts, I think. Something's wrong with that. Okay, so let's see. Here's one right here. This was supposed to be the roof, and this is supposed to be the foundation. The bigger one is supposed to be the foundation. Okay, so this may go to a different building. I don't know. Let me just do some look here. It looks like our foundation piece is wrong.
Oh, Arsky asked, did you ever get the crane built?
No, and I was thinking of actually, somebody asked if we got the crane built. I was actually thinking about maybe trying to tackle it today, but I've got a lot of other projects. So I'm not sure exactly when I'll get back to that. I've been working on this all week. So, okay. All right, the base piece, Gabe?
Yeah.
Not right.
It isn't?
No.
Okay.
It's way too, I'm not sure exactly what's going to be wrong with it. I'll know when I get the walls put together, but it's definitely off.
Is it too big or the dimensions themselves?
Dimensions themselves. Yeah, and the dimensions on it's going to depend. We may even have the dimensions wrong on the roof. Yeah, we probably should have waited until I have the U shape made, and then we made all the inserts. Because I don't think any one of these three that I've got right here is actually going to work. Yeah, let me make sure I'm not missing any inserts over here. Any pieces? Are there any big flat pieces in there? No. I've got them all in here. Okay, so then yeah, we have three completely different separate sizes. And there should only be two, so that should have been the tip off to begin with. So we'll just have to wait and see. All right, so I'm going to go back to the two pieces that I've been drawing the longest. I'm going to pull those up here. I'm going to put this one down there. All right, so these are the two that are already done and ready to go. So the easiest way I found to do this, instead of trying to do it upright, is to do it flat on the table when I start gluing these together. So I put the, so this one will be the face down. So this is the front section. And then this is the side section. I'm just going to set this up and out of the way for just a second here. So this will go like this. The wider of the, see there's a thinner and a wider edge. Here's the wider, here's the thinner edge. This has to go to the front, that goes to the back. So when I glue this, I just have to be aware that this has to be up, this has to be down. So that means this side right here, and I've got to make sure I have the right side. So this is actually going to go like this. So that means this piece has to go like this. So I'll spin this around, and this one's going to go like this. And the reason I know that is because these recessed windows starting right here, this is the foundation. This is the real big part of the foundation. So this has to come down and match where the doors are. So then I have to realize that this is the thinner piece, so this has to go closest to the wall, this furthest away from, this heading back. So we'll have to turn this, and I hope I get this all right. I have to turn this around. I'll have to go this way. And we'll have to take this, and it goes like this. And like this. There we go. Okay. So there. Now I've got all those base pieces all lined up and right there. And as per usual, I have my gap right here in the middle, and that's because this table is so old, we have a slight bow right here in the middle. So what I do is I start with the glue on either ends. I kind of get it tacking up. Even though I'll have glue on the whole way, then I'll slide this out to the edge and I'll push this bottom piece up into this side piece. And once I've done that, it'll create the total bond that we need for that. So it looks like everything lines up really well. That is correct for that. That is the back side, so we are correct on that. So everything's good. So I'm just going to set this right here, like that. And we're going to get this. We're going to get the glue. I'm going to get myself a little closer to the edge here. So, good song by 30 Seconds to Mars, by the way. So I'm going to get a little closer to the edge. I'll put my bead of glue down here, and then I'll just bring this straight over and set it on, and it'll start working the edges, and I'll move it out, and we'll work it, pushing everything up. Okay, make sure I got enough here in the middle. So again, just using this, and I'm going to add a little extra right up here at the top because I really want it to adhere. I'm going to be running some trains here in just a little bit. I'm going to get this done first. So we're going to come along here, and we're just going to dab this and smear it all around so the glue is all over this area, like that. There we go. That should do it. Okay. All right, so we're going to bring this straight over. I gotta back up so I can see what I'm doing. Make sure I get everything flush top and bottom. Like that. And we'll just kind of start pushing this down right here. I'll get, like I said, I'll get the top and the bottom pretty well started, and then I'll slide this off the edge. As soon as I get that to there, then I will start moving this over. This stays wet pretty good. It's when you start to put it together that you really have to work fast. But until then, it'll stay wet for a while. Do we have a Metra? Not yet, but it is one that we are going to get. All right, so now I moved off the edge here. So now I can start to push these together along this edge there where the bow on the table is. We'll just start working our way down the side. Just pushing as we go. Okay, it's not tacking in the middle. I'm just going to hold in the middle here for a while. So I make sure this is really set. Okay. That should be pretty good. That actually looks pretty good. So if I just get it to set like this, the top moved on me, so I got to come back and I got to redo the top. You just kind of have to go back and forth till it really starts to dry up. Oh, well, that's pretty good. I like that one. Is that the one that's the Heritage, you said?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I like that engine a lot. That's the one that's the red from the rocket. Okay. I knew it was going to be a problem with this big guy. Once we get the first one done, the other one goes pretty easy. It's just getting the first one done. See if I can add a little weight back there. All right. If I can just get these 3 points to dry, we'll be all right. Is that in scale or HO? The Metra. Okay. Well, I don't know if he'd said before what gauge he was in. All right. So now I'll just take a couple seconds here. I think I've pretty well got a HO. Okay. I think I've got a pretty good 90-degree angle going here. So once I get it upright, I'll adjust it. I'll have a little bit of time where I can adjust it out, get a good 90-degree going on it, and we'll be fine. Not too much longer. I can actually already feel it strengthening right now under the grip. Yeah, we're almost there. Not taking too much more. Oh no, it's now pretty solid. I mean, I can do that now. So we're almost at it. Make sure I've got some good. Well, that is really nice and flush down there. That's great. Okay. I think we are good. Yeah. Now I can check the seam, make sure I've got spots. Okay. If they make it an in scale, we'll have to wait and see if they've got an in scale. All right, I gotta push this one in right here for just a little while, and then I'll check the 90-degree. Okay, up here, I'm gonna have to pull this in just a little bit. Whoops. Okay.
It says they do.
Oh, they do? Okay. Okay. Now, what I'll probably wind up doing, since I have a lot of room here, is I generally reinforce on the inside, and I'll reinforce these corners with, let's see, probably what I'd want to do is I want to span across these two seams right here especially, and then a little bit of the top and bottom. Let's see if I've got a piece here. I probably do. I've usually got a lot of this stuff around. Yeah, I do. So I've got a lot of this. So let's see. I see a piece on the inside. Be about like that. That would cover those seams pretty good. Right here, these two joints. What I'll need to do is I'll need to think ahead and cut them the right length so that I can adjust for my inside braces. Because what goes inside, what I was showing you guys before, are these things. We just don't have one the right size. They actually just fit inside these things. You can see right now that we don't have this done right at all. But anyway, these will be inside like this, reinforcing the walls. So I'll just need to make sure I cut these at lengths and glue them in spots to where I'm going to have room. Because we'll put this right here, and then we'll have a brace probably about right here, and we'll have a brace about right here probably, and a brace about right here, and then we'll have the bottom. So I'll just need to, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to reinforce this side. So I'm just going to turn this, hopefully. So I did feel the seam pop on me.
Franklin says, as a metro lightning bolt scheme is a red blue library of the F-42.
Okay. All right. So now I get this at 90-degree, like that. I'm going to figure out, I'm going to cut these. Really simple on cutting these. If you haven't used a lot of this stuff before or done this, you don't have to take your time cutting. So I'm going to want to come down probably a piece about this long right here. So all you have to do is just score one side and snaps. So then we're going to take this, that'll actually be perfect. Well, maybe a little long, so I'm going to cut it just a little bit shy, like that. Pop it. So now we'll come to like right there, I'll span over those two things in the corner. And this will give me my top piece, giving my inset for that, and a piece right there, and a piece right there. Perfect. Okay. So we're just going to come in here into the corner. Get this at a 90. It's already setting up pretty good, but I'm just going to go ahead and do this. Okay, so get this little one that goes inside in the corner to start off with. All I'm going to do is just...
Crochet lady says, looks good, now we got to get through to joining the other side.
Yeah, well, I'm reinforcing first, and then we will. All right, now we want to make sure we get glue on the surface on both corners, like that. And this being like this, having a square like this will give me my 90 degrees too. So this will really help with that. So we're going to come down just a little ways from the top so I have room for my roof panel inset. There we go. About like that. So now what we've done is this one's come down farther than this seam right here. So it's now reinforcing this corner right here. Okay, so there's the first piece. Oh yeah, it's already So then we have, this is our second piece, and we're gonna have I'm gonna give a gap. I'm gonna come down because I've got to bear in mind where I've got to put that across. So come down to like right there. That one's still too long. That one came down farther than I thought. So I'm gonna want to cut off about this much right here.
Ethan says hi.
Hi, Ethan.
Arsky says, I don't know if it went through. I lost signal. Walmart obviously scale mystery boxes. The HO Frank was 99, so I bought
Ooh. And who was the manufacturer on that? Oh, Lombard Hobbies. Okay. Cool. All right. So now, do what? Uh-huh. Trust me. I'll put it on here and you can come take a look.
It's supposed to go underneath, right?
Yep. All right. So there's that. Getting a little excess stuff off that's dribbling. And then we're going to put this right here. Perfect. That's going to give me my window line. See, I also have to take into account the reinforcements inside have to be across the horizontal area. So I've got to leave a little gap here and there for that.
Arsky says, sorry, Lombard released them, but they're actually at their roundhouse in Genesis.
Oh, okay. These are mystery boxes, or
Yeah.
okay. Oh, cool.
Franklin says, Metra and Skills in stock at Lombard.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take a look here. Oh, that did it for me for my 90 degree. That's exactly what I needed. All right, so I'm pretty pleased with that. So we'll just make sure this is good and snug up here.
Roundhouse comes with 7 and Genesis boxes come with 4.
Items? Oh, okay. All right. So now I've got one more little section I want to do. So we're gonna, let's see here. We want to make sure we clear everything. I want to do about right here. And we'll do the same thing on this other side. Make sure I'm going to clear that. I'll be okay there. Yep. All right. So one more. Then I'll turn this and I'll show you guys what I've done. Oh. Okay. That's pretty good.
Ethan asks, do you have any 3D training trace files for Bamboo Candy?
Well, we've got a lot of files, and they're all made on Bamboo for us because that's what we have for a printer. So, what kind of files are you looking for? All right, last reinforcement to go in place, and I'll be able to spin it around. You guys can see it all. This is just going to make this really solid now at this point, which is good because it's my biggest building, and I'm going to have to be moving this base an awful lot. When I'm working on the windows, when I'm working on the lighting, when I'm working on false interiors, and
Arsky says, I bought every mystery box that was released this year.
oh, cool.
And Ethan says he's looking for any.
Do what?
Ethan says he's looking for any file.
Most of what we have are buildings. And you can find tons of free files on Thingiverse. And whatever you're looking for, just type in the keywords, and you should be able to find just about, that's what we do. And you should be able to find anything that you need. Okay. So what I've done now, and I've got it all pushed in here nice and tight, and you'll be able to see it. So I took, you'll probably be able to see that fairly decently. So I put the styrene up. I cut sections off here, and I'll do the same thing. I've done this on the other buildings too. It's just this one wound up being a real pain, and I wound up having to do it earlier than I normally do. So, but it's working fine. It's coming together pretty good. I'm looking for my little, here it is. I've got a little tool that, if I can get glue flowing in it, they give you for these little bottles, these things that allows you to gap fill. So there's a few spots here I need to gap fill. So I'm gonna just spin this around. Pick it up so I don't keep trying this stuff. And then I'm just gonna, I don't know if I'll be able to show this or not, but I've got a fairly good sized gap right here that I want to get rid of. It's the thing dried facing or pushing out a little bit. I'll correct it when I use the Dremel. I ground all that stuff down. So I don't know if I'm going to get any glue out of this or not, or if I'm going to have to cut it.
Says, I want the 3D Ghostbusters firehouse.
Oh, well, that's pretty cool. All right, so it is flowing out the tube at the end. So I'm just going to gap fill this whole thing almost all the way. I mean, I'm going to be puttying it over with the Tamiya putty, but I just want to gap fill just to get a nice, good reinforced joint. And I'll wipe off the excess as per usual. This is all going to get filed and ground down anyway. I just want to get this in here. No, we're not in Chicago. We're up on the border of Illinois and Wisconsin. All right, that should pretty well take care of all the gluing for this side. This is definitely a much bigger overall than I had imagined. So it was just a few more issues with the gluing than I was anticipating. But with our reinforcements inside, I know I've got a good 90-degree angle, so I'm happy with that. A little bit it's going to be off. All right, so I'll give you a measurement. Because I can give you a measurement now because I've got the flat and the side done. All right, so the flat will be approximately, these are all the insets. You know, I better just wait till I get that other side on. But it looks like it's going to be 7 and about either 1/4 or 3/16. So if you want to start looking at the flat, that'll give you an idea. The front. So the front panel, the flat that covers everything, taking off the width of the walls that are on the side. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be about 7 3/16.
So is it larger or smaller?
What?
Is the foundation too large or too small?
Well, you said you had them right there. Or you just can't compare to what you have?
Yeah, well, that's 100 meters.
That's a big difference, isn't it?
Is the front space?
But see, I don't even know which ones these are supposed to be.
Yeah.
So, if this is supposed to be this one.
Oh, yeah. The one that you're looking at? That's the inside. That's right on.
All right, let me get the other side put on.
Yeah,
And the foundation is definitely going to be off.
Oh, yeah, that's.
But this is the roof. The roof might be okay, but the foundation is definitely.
That guy down there.
Yeah, because I think this is the biggest one.
It goes the other way.
Yeah, but either way. Okay, so you got that.
Uh-huh.
And
No. Other way.
oh, yeah. Well, it's a little big, but I've got
Uh,
the other one's a little big too.
Yeah, it's the inconsistency. I think with the nozzle head, it can't get down to those fine millimeter
Oh, okay.
things, so it may
Okay.
just be a little bit off. Oh, and
Okay.
Ethan says thank you
Oh, you're welcome, Ethan.
for about the files.
Yeah. Yeah, Thingiverse is our go-to. That's everything for us. So, you know what I may try doing? It would be a pain in the rear doing it this way, but I think I may go ahead and try to put this on the foundation.
Yeah. Man, that looks cool.
Yeah, I just had some issues with it being so big.
Yeah.
Trying to put the two walls together like that.
Yeah.
So I may just go ahead and I'm going to get this edge here filed.
Mm-hmm.
I probably should grind the edge versus doing that. Because, yeah, I'm just going to grind it. It's going to get noisy here for a minute, everybody. I've got to take this and I've got to grind the edge off right here where I'm going to do some gluing. So that'll just take me just a sec. You guys have seen me do this enough. I didn't think I really needed to bring it into camera view. Like to have this face on here where I've got something really sturdy to work on. Okay. That should give me a really good flat area to glue to now. At this point, I'll just clean up all the little, like I normally do after I use anything that I grind with as far as the Dremel goes. You kind of have to go get the little melted areas taken care of. They get too hot. It always builds up a little bit here and there. So you just kind of come back over the top with a file. Yeah, if I get the foundation, then that'll be fine.
Okay.
If I can do this, I can set it back down on its side to glue the other one on, the other wall on. Right now, I wouldn't trust the strength of it at this point until I get these reinforcements in. When you're dealing with big stuff like this, big, high, heavy stuff like this, you just have to adjust your build process. I mean, I wouldn't have these kind of issues with, something half this size. But because it is so big, because, I had to have skyscrapers. Okay. All right, so we got that. So all this is I just got this to where I can get a good glue on a flat surface. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, so what we're going to do is, let's see, I'm going to line this up the way it's supposed to be, and I guess it's that, and I need to get these things out of the way. All right, so we're going to move this down to here. We're going to take this, put it here, and okay, a little bit of an overhang, but not much. All right, so I'm going to remove this extra little tip off of here that you use for gap filling with. Going to get this straightened and flat again, this wax paper, because we don't want anything buckling, so we get a nice flat edge. All right, so let's do this. And this will definitely give me my 90-degree angle now. Okay. And again, we'll just dab a little off. All right. So, okay, here we go. We're going to do this side first so I can get it lined up here. And we're going to push that out. We can run it up there. We can line it up here. Come on. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. There. And come on, come on, come on, come on. And there. Okay. I'm not quite sure I'm going to hold this. I was not thinking ahead. We'll get there though. There we go. That figures. Put my fingers in the glue because I forgot there's an open spot there for the door. Now, you may think, why am I gluing this on top of the foundation instead of a recess? It's taking into account our sidewalk. We'll have a thick sidewalk coming up, so this will be fine. This will work perfectly for the thickness of the sidewalk coming up to the actual entrance of the door height of the base of the building. So there is a method to the madness. Again, trying to think of all those things ahead of time that we're going to have to deal with later. It's always the fun part. Okay, yep. So that is really pretty good. I don't think I have to push off the edge here. I think it was just because it's so small, it's not a long strip, it's just a very concentrated little narrow area. Perfect. Okay. So, there we go. All right, so now we'll try to figure this out. I'm assuming I'll have to go this way with it. Like this. And then I'll glue down this side right here, and I'll glue right here. And I'll do this flat. I'll put it down, I'll do it flat. I wonder if it'd just be easier because I got to push this in anyway. No, because it's easier to get those tops and the bottoms. Okay, let's see if we can figure it out. We'll do this. That's really getting strong now. So we're getting what we want here. All right, I got to get the other wall section. Again, I got to make sure I glue it the right way. With it to the back, and that's this way right here. So how are we doing it? How are we doing there? Actually, that should be all right. If I can get that to stick right there, I can work the rest of it in. Perfect. And then I'll push that in right there. Gee, we're gonna push it in the middle. Shocker on that. All right. So we're just gonna set this right in here like this. Where'd my glue go? Here's my glue. Okay. And of course, I know I'll do something wrong at some point here. I mean, at least I'm entertaining, huh? All my self-commentary and screw-ups. Okay. So let's see. We're going to dab that out of the corner. Right here, there's a lot of glue right there. We're just going to kind of come along here and do this kind of a thing. And do this kind of a thing right here. All right. Let's see if we can do this one right. Okay. Got this right? Make sure I got this right. Yeah, okay. Really suck at this point to put it on wrong. All right, so we're going to get that right there. We'll get this corner done right here, right now. Get that setting up. That's setting up. Boy, this sure made it a lot easier. Should have gone with the base to begin with. Oh yeah. Now should be heavy enough for me to be able to do this nonsense. Okay, I'm just going to hold right here in the middle like I did before. Hopefully it'll all line up.
Here we go again.
Yep. Only difference being is I've got a lot more strength now in the building itself. Instead of trying to do two free moving sides together, I've got two solid sides with one free moving one. So it makes it a lot simpler to do. There we go. Yep, see how fast that was when you've got something good and strong to work on? Pretty well done. I'll just push this right here. This side may not need the reinforcements, which would be really nice because then I don't have to worry about getting everything lined up correctly for the interior panels. All right, so we're just going to hold that right there. Everything else is pretty much done. So we just about got this. We're going to put the roof panel in if it fits. We're going to put one of the middle panels. Do we have more than one of these middle panels then?
No.
You have to print one more?
We just wanted to check to make sure
that it fits? Okay. Well, we're going to find that out in just a second or two. Yeah, and then that'll be it for this lower section completely. All right, so the way this works, everybody, is the inserts that we're going to put in are our braces. They're a little short in length, or they should be a little short in length, to where the back panel that's going to go here will actually inset, and it'll be right in between. It's more of a force fit type of a thing. So it'll be setting down in between these walls against these areas here, here, and here. And I'll probably put a piece right down in here, like a styrene piece across here that I can butt up against. So that way, I'm never going to attach the back panels ever permanently. So if I need to do something, replace lights, I want to add something, I want to take something out, I can do it. And it makes it easier also if I don't glue any of the other stuff to it. Like the other levels will never be glued to it that we're getting ready to build. Well, actually, we're in the process of build. We've already got half of them printed for the next level. To where I can take the whole thing apart. I mean, I can't imagine trying to move this thing if I had to, especially when I go to paint. If I had this thing being 5 foot tall, trying to take it down and get it painted, I'd probably drop it going down the stairs. Whereas I can take it in 3 sections, paint it. It's all going to come out being the paint's going to be looking the same anyway. So I don't have to worry about that. So it just makes it easier to leave these things and then just get everything set properly and plumb. So we'll do all of that in the build process before we go to paint to make sure that since we aren't going to be gluing the second section of this, everything will stand beautifully. And we'll probably wind up having to put some reinforcements across right here. I did that over on the Mako. I'll show you that here in just a little bit. That supported the roof panel right in the middle here. So that we'll have that. I'll do that another day. I won't do that today. I'm just getting the basic build done today. So let's get this standing upright, and then we'll see if we can't. Well, actually, I'm going to spin this around, and we'll put the roof panel in. We'll see if the roof panel is going to fit. This is really good and solid now. So yeah, no issues, no problems at this point. It's pretty much done. All we're doing at this stage is, like I said, just doing the last of the reinforcement. Okay, so the roof panel, unlike these other panels that go inside, this is an internal panel.
I'm working on them. So that the camera view doesn't show what you're doing. Let me turn it.
I might have been off on some.
Maybe.
You know, some of the stuff I was doing, I've done, like when I was doing the sanding, the grinding, I was off camera for that.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's probably what it is.
Let's see. How's that?
Oh, I don't know.
No, I'm asking that.
Oh, okay. I don't know which way goes which.
This is what glue is this? Bondtech?
Bondtech.
Yeah, it's a special PLA glue.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to do just the tiniest little bit of shaving, which I always have to do shave one of the corners down. Okay, so I've got a hang up right here along this edge, and when this stuff prints, it always prints like an edge over or an edge under. So I'm just going to take a little bit off this corner, and I'm just going to use that with the X-Acto blade. I don't know if you'll see it, but I'm going to keep coming back and forth till I get that pretty well done. It looks like I'm going to need to. It's just the tiniest little bit. So what I want to do is I want to take it off of an area that won't be seen as much. But I am going to be putting a cap piece all the way around this too, so I guess it really doesn't matter a whole lot. Plus, this is going to be sitting up at about almost 6 foot off the deck, because the deck's almost 4 foot up, and this is almost 2 foot. So the odds of you actually seeing any little gap here is going to be very minimal. So I'm going to make sure I've got the right one. And okay, so I'm just going to take, and we're just going to start grinding this off. Now, I don't want to use the grinder because I don't really want it to melt at this stage. I'm just, yes, this is all 3D printed. So all I'm going to do is just keep taking this off, and I'll just keep test fitting until I get it exactly the way I need it. I'm going to take a little bit off the other side, flip it around. So this is squared, so I want to make sure that whatever I take off the one end, I got to make sure I take off at this end so that the top will be squared. That's probably getting pretty close now at this stage. We'll do another test fit here. And yes, I vacuum everything up after a couple of days. Let it build up some and then vacuum, vacuum, vacuum. Yes, we do print the buildings ourselves. We have a Bamboo A1 printer. We're not sponsored by them, but I'm going to tell you right now, fantastic printer. Only about $300 to $400. You can probably find them on sale closer around the 300 mark, maybe even a little less. Best purchase you can ever make for your model railroad. You're welcome. All right. Let's check it. See how we're doing. Ooh, we're so close. Yeah, I'm in down here on this one. And almost there on that one. Okay. Just about there. And this is just irregularities that I do in my build. So sometimes I just have to do this with my reinforcement stuff. I never can get everything exactly the way it's supposed to print out, as far as, you know, perfectly lined up down the sides and stuff when you're gluing these big wall sections together. So then you just make up the difference here. Just takes you a couple seconds to get it done. And I'm just gonna do that. Okay, I don't want to go too much more because I'm starting to get into the support parts of the print. So I don't want to take too much more off here. If I have to, I'll take some off the other side, but I think this is going to be pretty close to being it. Give that a shot. Let's see what that does. Looks pretty good. Let me I just have my file. Probably where I can't see it behind the building. Here. Oh, there it is. Okay, let me just get that. Just file down just a little bit here. All right. I think I'm going to be pretty close. I finally went ahead and started to do the finished parts of it. Okay. Yes. Okay. A little bit more on the top up here, I think, and right here in the middle too. Boy, you can smell the plastic. Oh boy. Well, I guess I should say you can smell the PLA. Whoops. You grind like this with the knife. Very odd smell. Okay, so let's see if that will do it. Oh, I can even see a little bump right there. So I'm gonna just make sure I have that out. There we go. Okay. That's fairly straight. I mean, it's not going to be perfect, but it's probably good enough. All right. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there we go. Uh-huh. Okay, so I can glue that into place. Probably gonna have to do the same thing here on this. Yeah, it looks like, well, that's just on that. I'm gonna have to do the same thing on that. We'll deal with that in a sec. I'm gonna get this roof piece in. All right, so I'm gonna turn this a little bit so I can see all the sides. I guess I can leave this in here for right now and get it off the table. This will really just finish strengthening this up. Okay, so this goes like this. I'm trying, guys, I'm trying. I'm trying to work as fast as I can. Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. All right, so just to make sure, I'm gonna mark which way we go just down so I don't. Okay. All right, here we go. Got to do all three sides. Hey, if you guys have liked this today and you want to come back, just don't forget to like and subscribe. That way you'll get the updates on we're doing about 3 live streams a week. The one in the middle of the week is just kind of, we always put up a notice when we're going to do them, at least an hour in advance. Sometimes it's the day before. But this way you'll know when we're getting ready to do something. All right, here we go. I got my arrow aiming down, that's right. Right into where I did my grinding at. The work surface? Oh, the table? Yeah, it is definitely too small. I should have a much larger space than this, but I was never planning on doing buildings this big either. So, I'm just adapting to what I can do. Because I'm also having to deal with having the layout in here. Its space as well. So this space is just having to take care of a lot of stuff right now. Okay, that's not bad. How's that gap? I want it to be recessed just a little bit. I think I have the room with the windows, don't I? Yeah, I do. Okay. So if we're putting the window glazing inside, there's no problem there. There we go. I'll just kick that. He says, I don't know about you all, but I get paid by the hours to take your time. Oh, well, great. Thank you, Franklin. All right, so we're going to hold that right there like that. This side's almost pretty well set up over here. We're just going to make sure that's good right there. All right, so I just got to hold this for a second. And then this really squares it all off. We're good. So just got to get that one in there, and then we have one left to print. I'll do that another day this week. We have to have one more like this. This one's going to go, I'll probably do the one, let me see, probably up here, because the bottom one's really reinforced well. So I'm just going to have to, yeah. I hope so. I hope it looks like a really good downtown. Yeah, because we are going to have a Ferris wheel right down by the station. We don't have it on a pier, but it's going to look pretty cool. Oh, there was the problem. I need to get that wedged down in there. There we go. Okay. I got it caught.
Oh, were you chased by any aliens this week?
No, not this week. No, I was so tired this week from all the shoveling and working out in the cold that I was able just to pretty much just fall into bed and I was out. So no snoring aliens this week. Plus, I think her allergies were a little better too. So. But thank you for asking. That was just creepy. Okay, we got to make sure that this is pretty well inset evenly all the way around, because if I don't do that right now, when we put the other one on top, the other section on top, it's going to lean one way or the other, and I'll have to shim it. Oh, well, I'm glad you were here. This is Great Northern? Yeah, I'm glad you joined us. We'll be here for a little while. This frustration of this stuff is going to take me a bit, so. At least it's not as bad as that crane was last weekend. That crane last weekend sucked. That's all I can say about that. And I didn't get around this week because I was working on sanding all of this stuff. I didn't get around this week to really deciphering those instructions on that thing. So I'm not sure after working on this today I'm going to want to deal with that. I probably won't have the patience. Okay. All right, I think that one's good. So basically I got to do the same exact thing for one of these, and then we'll be done with this part for the day. We'll be done with the tower for the day. And then we'll go work on the platform for the station. But you can see how, oh, it didn't glue. Why didn't it glue? Oh, no, it did glue. The whole thing's just wiggling. That was pretty funny. But my one didn't glue. But yeah, it did. It was just wiggling off the edge. Okay. Kind of tired. All right. So let's see. That's the wrong way. No, that's really the wrong way. Okay. So gotta take a little bit off also, because I don't want it to bow. Obviously, you don't want it to bulge out. So we're gonna need to do basically the same thing I just did. So it'll take a second here. Probably Tuesday. Next year will probably be Tuesday. Depending upon how much I get printed this week, because I'd like to finish this big building up. That's pretty much what we're going to be doing, and working on the station area and doing some running. And I've got to get, tomorrow I plan on getting all my track in order. I'm going to get enough nails down to get everything straightened. And then I really need to start working on ballasting so that I can just lock everything in. Yes, the glue bonds very quickly. I had a hard time initially because I was putting too much on. It's one of those things that's like super glue. Well, this is a super glue, but it's made specifically for PLA filament from printer. But it's basically like super glue. You put too much on, it's going to take forever for it to set up, if you can ever get it to set up. It was one of those kind of guessing game as to how much to put on. And that's why I dab a lot off. I'll put just a good sized bead on, and then I'll just dab a bunch off, and I'll moosh it around a little bit, smear it around, and just to get the right thickness of the glue on there. And then in about 30 seconds, it's done. And within an hour, it'll be completely set up. There'll be no give, no nothing to it. So, it's fantastic glue.
One in Mississippi.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Franklin asked if it's based on Chicago.
Influence is from Chicago. I mean, we're, only 45 miles from downtown Chicago. We've been there a lot of times. It's kind of the feel I was going for, or basically just about any big city. But adding the Ferris wheel in will definitely either give it a feel of like that or London. But this is also these towers are a lot bigger than what you see in London. But it's something like that. Yeah. Okay. So I got that done. So I'm just going to come down here and work on this end now. And hopefully not take too much off. You guys will see it here in just a sec. As soon as we get this middle section put in, I'm going to set it up over by the other skyscrapers. And we'll show you kind of the overall look. Because like I said, I've already got some of the panels printed for the second level, the inset level. So I'll be able to show you how tall that's going to be. And then we'll do the all those I-beams that I made, or that we made printed for the station. Or I'll go back to weathering. I never finished those two cars that I was weathering on that last live stream, and I'd like to get those two container cars finished up. We may possibly be shifting over to that. Because basically after this, you pretty much see me playing with enough PLA for the day. So we may just go into doing that part of it. Well, I don't know if it'll be operational or not. I've been looking. I can't find a really good in scale as big as I want it to be Ferris wheel. So if I find a 3D print one, which I've already started to find some for, I'll be able to get it the size I want, but I don't know necessarily that they have. I started doing a cursory look online for a file, but I can't tell from the ones I found. I bookmarked some so that I can do some more digging into it. I'm hoping it'll be, my goal is to have an operational Ferris wheel. Whether that's going to come true or not, that's entirely a different matter. But we'll see. That is the end goal, is to have one that will rotate and be completely lit up for our nighttime running, with different colors and everything that can change out. We can have it dim from one color to the next. But we'll see. I don't know. I hope. Okay, so let's see here. Really? Man, I shaved a bunch of you off. What's your problem here, buddy? That very end. I just don't have enough off of it.
This is very cool.
Yeah. That'll be a neat, I'll show you where all that is here in a minute, where that's going to be, because like I said, we're just about done with this. I'm going to set it up in place. And then to get a real good idea of what this downtown is, how it's starting to take shape. Oh, that's better. It doesn't have to. That doesn't have to. Oh, there we go. That's pretty good. I'll make sure. I'm going to tip it here, and I'm going to make sure I don't see a bulge halfway down. And then we push that out right there. That should be fine. Maybe take a little off the other side, just to play it safe. Not a whole lot, not going to need much. Yeah, boy, things have really dried out here now. So there's definitely, everybody talks about how their track shrinks and bows and everything depending on the season. Never really had. I mean, my dad had the layouts, and I was never, I helped him with some stuff, but I don't know how he tackled that because I'm seeing a lot of it on this. So I'm going to have to definitely put more nails in. Keep things straight, like I said, until I'm really going to probably start tackling here fairly soon. Just getting the ballast down. Once I've done that, that'll solve the problem. Because I'm pretty sure over here where I have ballast down, I am not seeing any track movement at all. Okay, let's see here. That probably, where am I going? Here. That probably did it. Yes. Okay. So, we get all that garbage out of there. Make my arrow. I remember which way I'm going with this when I start to glue. Okay. And we're going to come right down. Which one? Probably this guy right here. So I'm going to come right down, right here, right there. So that'll fit. Yeah, I'm going to stand up to do it, but that'll fit it right there. Yeah, and I don't see a bow on this. It's not like these are tight, pushing it and creating a bow, which is a good way to tell if you need to do a little bit of work. It feels pretty good. There's a little bit of a spot. Feels like it's catching, like right here in the middle. So I'll do just a little more right here. I want to get it where I can start to see all of the support layers sticking out on this edge right here. Do that, then I know I've got it back to being 90 degree. I hope everybody's safe at the Amherst show. Boy, that was that snow that's coming in up northeast there. That Amherst show is a big show, and I tuned in this morning. And Virtual Rail had 4 cameras set up, and there were so many people already gone. Dealers, I'm sure probably all of the manufacturers stayed, but a number of the layouts were gone. Big layouts were already gone. Yeah, I use somebody asked about the nails for my track. Here's what I use. I think it's a number 64 or 66 drill bit. So I do it all with a manual so that I control how deep I want the holes for the tie, or to go between the ties and down into the benchwork goes. So I'll be putting a bunch in with this over the next couple of days. All right, let's see if we solve the problem with that. That's it. Okay, so we're good. I'm not gonna. If I keep fussing with it right now, it's just gonna I don't know. Where'd my glue go? Oh, there it is. Building's so big I can't find my parts. All right, so same thing as we did with the roof. We'll just put the glue on 3 sides here. I'm holding the wrong end. That's good. I'm just off camera right now putting glue on the edges.
Karski says, hence that's why I back out on going. Why did they have to?
Well, because in the summertime everybody's vacationing. I understand that, but I kind of agree. Be nice to have more shows in the summertime, I guess. Well, plus I guess a lot of people don't want to compete with the NMRA show in July. All right, here we go. I need to get up here so I can get lined up, get the right right down in. There we go. I'll get that little daub of glue off here in a sec. Just want to make sure I get this the way it needs to be on both sides. So I clear the windows on each side so I've got room for the window glazing. I just don't have any light in here to be able to see. I need to get more light. There. There. Okay. That gives me room along that wall. And it looks like I have room along this wall. And it looks like I have room along that wall. It's like I've cleared all of the windows. Get this dollop of glue off there, that bothers me. Especially if I put my hand up there and I get a lot of it going everywhere. So we're just gonna push this in and push this down in and push that down in like that. Okay.
I see says bring it to Florida, we don't have snow.
I've actually seen there's a lot of really good shows in Florida though. I've seen a bunch listed. Okay. I think I've left enough room. So what I'm contending with is I got to make sure this centers perfectly between my windows so that I have enough room to put glue above and below each of the windows on either side of this for the window glazing so that it'll stay in place. So I just kind of have to work with it and make sure it all looks really good, and it's looking pretty decent. Now I'm going to tip this up and I'm going to push this panel in right here. Well, there you go. Now you can see what it's doing. Give this just a second. Boy, this is really getting sturdy now. Okay. Perfect. Like we got it. Looks like I got enough gap everywhere. Okay, so now to show again, now that I've got this like this, on either side of this door area, we're going to have these going up. They'll be overlaying like this, one there and one here, and they'll be going up the whole distance up the building like this on the front side. Then on the side, we have this. These are a little bit different. These are going to be going up in the middle like this, all the way up the middle like this. So you have the two on the side, on the front and rear, and you'll have the big long panel on the sides. So it just gives a little bit of interest to the architecture. Didn't really need to put them on there, but I could have just gone with a square building, but that's boring. So we are definitely going to be putting those on. All right, so let me go set this over in place, and then we'll give a little tour of the downtown, and then I'll decide what I'm going to do. But I'm kind of thinking I'm going to go back to weathering the cars. I'm kind of tired of sniffing PLA glue for the day. Okay, so here's what you got to do with the PLA glue. You got to make sure you get every bit of it off. And that includes what I do is I get down inside this little ring right here. I get down inside that. And then I also take my thumbnail and I push it through to where I feel the threads right here. And I rotate it so I work my way up through the threads. And believe me, you have to do this. Okay. Get up there on this top lip. All right, that's good. So now my cap will not glue to that. Really got to make sure you do that. All right, let me go move this over here, and then we'll get the camera, and we'll show you guys, and maybe I'll run the train around a little bit, and then we'll get to weathering cars.
Good job and no bowing.
No what?
Good job and no bowing.
No, it isn't. It's there's no bowing. It's all there's no bulges to it or anything. It's doing really good. All right, so we're gonna set this up in place. Gotta move a little paint bottle back there. Oh boy, oh boy. I'm not sure about 2 layers on that middle layer. This thing's enormous. Okay, so yeah.
My college says, cheers to the coast of South Carolina.
Oh, I hope you're okay. You're not catching all that snow that everybody's seeing in South Carolina. You're not catching what's going on in the east. All right, so we're gonna do a reveal here and show you what this looks like. Get this out of the way.
Albert says it looks very square.
It is very square. For now. There we go. That is a massive base. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah. We may only do like a half on a second layer
Okay.
for that.
Instead of the 2/3.
Yeah, let me hold up one of the panels and we'll take a look. Let me see. I'll get a front panel here. This is the front panel. Okay, so yeah. Yeah. I probably should have stopped there. Yeah. Okay, so this goes here.
College says, wow, that's looking great.
Thank you. Who was that?
College.
College, okay. So let's put this right here so I can just prop this up for right now.
Howard says, wow, looks incredible, and Hard to Please Guy says beautiful.
Well, thank you. Okay. You said you had one figured out with 9 windows?
8. It was the 2/3.
8.
I can chop it down to the 6.
Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's roughly that much. So that's gonna, wow. That's gonna put it right there.
Should I even like do a 1/3?
But if we don't make it big enough, and we do the top part, it's gonna look really strange.
Yeah.
If we have a really short middle and then a tall top. Let me get my tape measure. And we'll just see here. I can find my tape measure. There it is. Okay. So 8 you said, huh?
Yeah.
Let me see how tall that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so that's an additional.
He says, wow, that's looking good.
Thank you.
Looking for the RC tower now.
All right, so 5.5 inches would be 8. So that puts it if we do the 8, that's going to put it to the height of just 1 story from the top of the Mako tower before we have the top pieces. But that allows us still to do a top. I don't know how top that cap is, but that would allow us to do 12 inches for the next inset level, with the top probably reaching the ceiling. 12 inches is what? Well, that would be a natural progression in getting smaller. In fact, we could probably even do less than 12, given the height of this versus the height of that. We could probably do a 10-inch.
Hard to Please says you're a true perfectionist.
Well, thank you. I try to get things where visually they're going to look good. So if we did a 10-inch top, 10-inch third level, then it would be progressively getting smaller each level, percentage-wise, off of the first level, which would then allow us to have that top level and not quite hit the ceiling.
He says, I see a lawsuit coming from the other buildings for loss of view.
Yeah, that happens a lot, I think, in real life. Yeah, this whole side of the building here, they just lost all their view to everything. And those poor people that spent those millions on those condos, yeah, they just just lost all that. But actually, this one will be moving over to here, and this one will be moving to here, because we're going to put the tallest one right in the center. But either way, one of the buildings is going to definitely lose some view. Okay.
Albert asks, will the buildings be lit? And if so, how do you like them?
Somebody asked if they're going to be lit, and how do we light them? Yes, every building is going to be lit. And I'm dreading the day we get to that stage. So the way we'll do it is all of the window treatments that we have, we'll be doing window shades on virtually every window, one way or another, whether vertical or horizontal. That's going to be a nightmare. And windows that we don't want any light coming through, I'll use like a black tape on the back side, so that it'll just look like a window that doesn't have lights on. I use probably a black electrical tape because it keeps out pretty much all light. So we'll have the window glazing on here, and then we'll have windows that I don't want light coming through. I'll put black electrical over that, but I'll probably put a shade first, and then the black over the top of that. So I mean, you're talking about that per window, and then we'll light up. If we do it that way, then I can just light up put several light sources inside, because not every window will be showing light through it. So that's how we'll take care of that. The other thing that we'll be doing is on every building we will put, like let's say right here, I'm actually going to build a room inside right here that's going to, if this is an office building, it's going to be like a little office, corner office. Right here I might do an under office room. You'll be able to see a desk, person in it, something like that. You won't be able to see through the room because it'll have a wall on the back side. But this way we can have actually rooms that we can focus on when we're doing our live feeds. That you'll actually be able to see actual rooms, and then just regular lit up stuff beside it. So that the process is going to be this. We're going to build all 30 towers first. We're going to place them in place. We'll move things around till we find out the overall flow, make sure everything looks really good. We have buildings sitting next to each other that we like how they look. And then once we've done that, then I'll start painting. I'll pick out the color palette, and we'll start painting every building. And the reason I'm going to do painting like that last until we get everything done is because I don't want to, if I have this building sitting right here, but then later I decide I want it over here, but I've already painted this gray and I've got a gray here, that means I need to move this gray tower and put it elsewhere. So we're not going to paint anything until everything is built. Then we'll paint everything. And then that's after that, we'll dull coat it all, matte finish it all. Then we'll start working on the windows. And then that's how the progression will go. So first thing we'll be doing is just continuing the builds like this. And so like I said, over here, next step we'll be doing the Gemini Tower now, which is the convention center. So that'll be doing that. We'll be doing that part next, with its twin towers going up over here. And then we'll be doing the one that looks like the downtown Los Angeles tower, and that'll be the Alexandria. And that one's going to be a tall one too. So it'll probably be sitting about right here. We'll kind of stagger up and down heights.
Albert asks what scale this is.
This is N scale. This is all N scale. Just to give you an idea on height for this guy right here, top to bottom, is 38 inches tall. So 3 feet 2 inches tall. This guy is going to be taller than him by almost a foot. And we may, I'd like to give myself a little bit of room before I get to the ceiling, because then that way, if we find another a really cool looking building that I want to have be the biggest building, I still have a little room to work with to have even a taller building. This right here is almost 50, 60 stories tall. When I added up the windows, I don't even know how much this one's going to be. Here, I'll get those things so you can see how this is going to look. So
Albert says, nice, I'm in LA.
Oh, so yeah, so you'll see some LA influence here. Well, you see pretty much every city influence here, because I haven't found a really good Empire State Building STL file, so we may be doing that. I found a really cool one from Dallas, so we're probably going to be doing that. All right, so these things right here, these are these overlays that we're going to have. Oh boy.
What happened?
Oh, the top thing fell off while I was jiggling the tower. Shouldn't jiggle the tower while I have stuff propped. But anyway, so these are going to go up the sides like this to give us a nice detail here. Now that I see how close these are going to be, I don't even know if the side ones are even going to work. So I have these for the sides. They're gonna go down the sides, they're gonna be halfway down the side to give us a little bit of detail. Well, I really wanna have shadow detail. I really wanna have, I don't wanna be just flat-sided buildings. I really wanna put these on here, so I'm gonna have to figure out spacing on the buildings. I may make this one have like 4 roads that go around, be, to where it has streets on all sides of it, so that you can actually see this. What?
Hard to Please says make it go through the ceiling into the ground floor.
Well, actually, this will be going into the attic. We're actually on the second floor here on in this layout. So yeah, I'm definitely. And what's funny is I thought, wow, we're going to be able to do great big tall buildings. We start building them. That looks great, and then it's like, let's go taller. And now we're at the point of we're going to run out of room.
It says, are you going to do any replica steakhouse buildings from your local state?
We have some really cool buildings in downtown Milwaukee. There's actually a museum down there that is absolutely gorgeous. It's a world-renowned museum designed by an architect where he created it to look like sails or wings, to where I don't know, throughout the day all these things kind of come up out of it. It looks like a bird's wings opening up, or it looks like sails for a ship. That would actually be cool if I could make that actually work, do something like that, and actually have it be operational. And I could do something, put that down around here somewhere, maybe even on a bump out or something. That would look pretty cool. And there's some decent buildings downtown. They've got another one they're working on right now that's being built. I think it's the largest building ever being built using nothing but wood timbers. And it's got some beautiful architecture to it. So we may wind up putting that, doing that one, if somebody's come up with an STL file, or if I can find a window pattern that's similar to it, to where we can actually do that. We may put that one in here. So yeah, so we probably will do something from the local standpoint. And of course, I mean, we're just as local to Milwaukee as we are, even though we're in Wisconsin, we're just as close to Milwaukee as we are Chicago. So we're probably going to do maybe like the Hamilton. I really like the angles of the Hamilton. I think it's called the Hamilton.
Says put some scaffolding on one with window washers.
Yes, we are going to be doing that. Window washers are going to be on here. In fact, we're going to have Easter eggs throughout the entire city that you'll have to, we'll put it up in the description when we run a live stream, saying, find this time. And might be Spider-Man swinging around, or I might have base jumpers jumping off of the building with parachutes, or some detail down here like we were talking about, having a bus stop with all the South Park kids. So we'll have all kinds of little Easter eggs throughout the entire build. So that is all coming. Yeah, we'll have a scaffolding with on at least a couple of the buildings that way. We may even have one where it's like, the old black and white movies, like it's partially dangling, and a guy's dangling from it, and that kind of stuff. So
Arski says nice train station as well.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, this station is coming along pretty good. It's a 3D print also, just like everything else. We've got all the parts for it. It's just doing the roof's going to be a bit of a challenge. It's the way it's sectionally put together. It's a beautiful station. It's actually, where was this at? Was it New Brunswick? Canada. I can't remember where we got the STL file from, where the building is from.
Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia. There's a big clock tower goes right here. This is going to be all oxidized copper. We'll get that greenish color for the roof of this one, and for the Artemis building, they'll be matching oxidized coppers. So it'll be a nice building. It'll be about this tall, but it's getting dwarfed now. I had this actually kind of building before I started doing almost anything else. And I thought it was, it's a nice tall building. And then this all started to happen. And then this has just been on a runaway freight train. Ha ha ha. So we'll see where this goes. Like I said, we'll finish up the Leviathan here. This is the Leviathan, the Mako, and the Artemis. So next will be the Gemini, and then the Alexandria. And then after that, we'll probably start having naming competitions for the naming votes for the buildings that are becoming.
Margaret Lee says, wow, cool, and Albert says, LOL, very nice.
Thank you.
Albert also asks, where will the Ferris wheel be?
Oh, where will the Ferris wheel be? Okay, it's going to be I might have to build this platform out just a little bit more, but it's gonna be like right here. Most downtowns have them right downtown, so, cities have them right where they're downtown, so we're gonna probably put it like right in this area right here. Probably about, maybe if I can find one, get about one about that tall, which is huge for N-scale. With those bigger, I don't know, not gondolas or whatever you wanna call them, that are up there, that are sealed, that have the air conditioning, everything that you go around in, that we can light up and put people in and the whole works. Like I said, I'll see if I can find one that I can motorize, and if I can't find one, maybe I'll see if I can just figure out the gearing and try I can motorize it, easy enough, with maybe I can hide some threading down to maybe a motor down here or something that, will just make it spin. It's all gonna depend too on the lighting aspect of it, how to make the lights work off of a pivot. So, there's all kinds of things that have to be considered on that. So I may just have to go with the stationary, but we'll see. We'll see. I can work it out. Maybe I can reach out to some people who have done something similar to that, and I can get their opinions on how to make that work. So I think that that'll be a good. It's just going to make this whole area, because we're going to have another big tower. I mean, this is going to go here. This is going to go here. And then we're gonna have another biggie back behind, and then we'll have another large one here, and then another large tower here, with another large tower back by the city center, for the whole city center area. So we'll have about 7 to 8 of the 25 to 30 towers will be just centered right here. And then everything will just kind of spread out, and they'll get a little more staggered apart as we go. So that's kind of the hope on that, is to have it looking like that, and to just be this big, huge corner right here, that all the focal goes onto. And see, then with this covered, and we'll be able to film underneath here, because we're gonna leave this all open so you can watch the passenger trains come in and unload. And then you'll see them come out from underneath the covering here. We're gonna have signals, track signals along here. So this is all gonna just, it's gonna come out really, really good.
Arsky says Arsky Towers has 1 vote.
Yeah, we'll put it up to voting. So this is, I don't know, I've got my track, I'm gonna have to be working on my track here, because I'm noticing a lot of, the outside track looks really good. So people will run some stuff around the outside track today. These inside tracks are, starting to really bow with the weather that we're getting. Everything is drying out so bad. So I'm gonna work on this, this week. I'm gonna get all the tracks straightened, and then I'm gonna, speaking of which, I should take a look here and see how this is, make sure I'm not cracking road bed. No, it's keeping the tracks perfectly straight, the glued road bed. So all I really got to do is just get this stuff straightened, and then get the road bed down, and it'll keep it all nice and straight. So here, you guys probably, let's just start up. Let's see here. Which one's which? Here, this one's coming around. It'll give you a good idea, because like I said, this track's pretty decent right now. I'm not seeing a lot of gapping or anything with the weather. So we'll bring him on around. He's going to be coming in on this inside tracking to see how he's going to kind of go underneath everything right here, and what the size is as far as the scale goes against the buildings.
Or the police says when you put the South Park kids there, don't forget to kill Kenny.
Yeah, kill Kitty, yeah. Or have them replaced with one of the many replacements that they've had over the years. So we're just bringing the trains, just kind of coming around. I'm just letting it go kind of easy, because I just want to make sure the tracks are all decent enough. Got a few areas that I'm definitely going to have to work on, but here it comes. You can see all the weathering. This is what I'm working on today, are the container cars like that. We'll be doing that here shortly. I'll show you. Here's the top of one of the containers that I'm going to work on the car for. There's the sides with all the streaking, the rust streaks and everything on it. So we'll work on, we've got the cars. I've got to put the black on, but I've got them all rusted, faded down. So we're to that stage, so we'll probably go ahead and wrap those guys up today. We've got 2 more of those that are in progress that I'd like to get finished.
Arsky says Mr. Hanky at Christmas.
Mr. Hanky Christmas, yeah.
He said the convention center will be named Gemini.
Yeah. Well, that's what we talked about. We've gone back to having 2 towers in the convention center. So that's why it'll be called the Gemini. So yeah, it'll fit. It'll be the Gemini Plaza or the Gemini Center or something like that. We've already got the files made for the towers. All we've got to do is make them big enough, make the panels big enough to be each tall, the 10, 12 stories tall. They're 4, I think they're either 4 or 5 stories tall right now. We just have to expand them. There'll be there'll be a panel kind of like this, because the tower is not very big. It'll probably be about like that wide at most. And we'll have 2 towers like that side by side, with a restaurant between at the base. Well, you'll get to it.
They were asked if this is Dubai.
If this is Dubai. I've had that question a couple of
Yeah,
times.
RC says Taylor, I call it mini Dubai.
Yeah, we've had that. I mean, it kind of feels that way every time we do another project and we get another big building done. It just seems like it just gets bigger and bigger. So yeah, it has that kind of a feel, and it probably will, because I'll be surrounded. It's going to be so weird in here once we get all 25 or 30 in here. It's going to be so strange working at my table because I'm just going to be surrounded by all these massive buildings. It'll feel like I'm in a real city atmosphere.
Freddie says, hello, I'm back.
Oh, glad you're back. We're just letting some engines run a little bit. Let the train run just a little bit here. My tracks are all kind of starting to do the bow things. I don't have the ballast down. So I'm not sure I want to take out the Montana Rail Link. Let me just look at its tracks.
Freddie asked if he thought of my idea of having the twin towers.
Well, that's what we were just talking about that. We've actually decided to go back. Somebody was asking about the Twin Towers. We decided to go ahead and go back to doing, instead of a single tower for the convention center, we are going to have a double tower convention center. It's right over here. I'll do a little tour here in a little while before we go to weathering the container cars. So there will be a twin tower complex right here. I haven't decided how tall those towers are going to be yet, but they're really thin, so I can't go crazy. Well, I mean, you look at that tower that's in New York. I mean, that thing is thin as all get out, and it's one of the tallest towers in the city. So I guess it really doesn't matter. But to me, aesthetically, I don't really like the long, thin skyscrapers. So we may make the 2 towers about maybe the height of the Artemis, maybe just a tiny bit taller. So we might wind up doing that.
Freddie says yay.
Yeah, it is definitely back in the works.
Taylor asks NYC then?
As far as this being the city,
Yeah.
it's really just a made up city. We're taking buildings from all over the world and putting them here. We're adapting them to what we want. For example, the Mako right here behind me, it's only supposed to be about half that height in real life, but we shot the middle up and made the sides taller. Same with the Artemis right here. It was only supposed to be about this tall, and we made it about a third again as tall. So we're keeping like the top parts, things that make those buildings identifiable, so that people might say, "Oh, that looks familiar." They should, everything will look a little familiar, because they're all based on real buildings. We've just made them bigger in most cases. In some cases, they'll be smaller because some of the buildings we may be like 100 plus story buildings, but I can only squeeze in like 60, 70 stories here. So we may wind up scaling down some, but a lot of the stuff we're doing right now, we're scaling up. So that, it could be just about any city. I haven't named the city yet. Because see, with the rock right here, it could almost be like these are the steps going into the Rockies or Appalachians or Smoky Mountains or whatever, the steps heading up into the foothills. So it could be any city from anywhere along a mountain range too. So I mean, this could be Denver. Because I did find, we do have a file that gives us a really cool rounded top, like that big tower in downtown Denver. So that is one of the towers that's coming. So there's just going to be influences from everywhere. You know.
We got a couple things.
Okay.
Let's see. Lord Alcatraz says, even the media has like the twin towers in existence.
Hang on a second. Then let the train go by. And then talk louder.
Okay. Lord Alcatraz says, even in media, they wipe the twin towers from existence. You'll feel like your King Kong is how you'll feel.
Yeah, it hasn't been in the news at all much lately, unless it's on the anniversary. So, you know, they were squared off towers as far as the overall architecture goes, and that's what these will be. But I can't remember. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can find that. Let's see if I can find a file for what the towers look like. What's the other?
Taylor asks, is it getting more expensive the higher you build from a certain height?
As far as the overall cost of the building? Not really. I mean, this total amount of material right here is one PLA roll, so that's $12. So it depends. I mean, if the thing was only half height, you know, it'd be $6 or 12. It'd be anywhere between $6 and $12 for the cost of a building. But then you got the wear and tear on the machine. So we don't factor that in as far as the cost, but just as far as the materials go, that's about all it is.
Taylor says, just imagine the whole population achieving living in one building.
Living in one building, yeah. Yeah, our entire population in our town would be, could probably fit, when we get this one done, could probably fit in that tower right there. Let's see here, let me find the picture.
Sounds like Springfield from The Simpsons.
Springfield and Simpsons. Yeah, any place, anywhere USA. Let's see here, let me get to the bookmarks and I'll get to the pictures and I'll show you what the Gemini towers are going to look like. Our convention center here. Let me see here. I got to go back up because I started putting files on my bookmarks here for cars. I found a bunch of really great cars. I got some Bethgon coal porters, and I found some really good wood chip cars. So I've got some really neat stuff coming on that I'm going to start printing for my own cars.
Albert says the price per building is reasonable.
Oh yeah, it's reasonable. It's just a time killer because it's like 5 days to print every building. So it just takes time. All right, so let me get down to the bottom here and I'll show you the tower well, I'll show you a couple of them. I'll show you the one that's kind of similar to Denver. Well, here. Okay, I'll show you guys this one. This right here is that right there. So you can see how short this is versus how tall that is. So that shows you how we're expanding things to our own liking. Let's see here. Where's that round one? Oh, yeah. That was the file for the Artemis. You can see this is how big this is supposed to be and how big we have it. It's like 3 times the height. So we're just adapting stuff. Let me see here if I can find, no, that's not it. Okay, here is the Gemini buildings. I can enlarge them. It just doesn't, Thingiverse doesn't allow you to do that. We eliminated everything off the back side here. And we just have this front area, which we doubled in height, doubled in length. And this is going to be the tower that goes up, with all of this being the same on the top, except for this goofy looking thing on the very tippy top. We're not going to have that. So we're going to have 2 of these towers go up about probably 30 inches in height. And that'll be the towers that'll be sitting on top of the, that'll be the Gemini towers on top of the convention center. And then, trying to find that round one. So there's just some really cool top buildings that will all be coming here. This right here, this is let me get that right here. This is the big one that we've been working on right here. This is the Leviathan Tower. So if stair steps back, our levels are just obviously bigger. We're taking them much taller, so each level has to be a lot taller, and then I'll have that on the very tippy top. Kind of, yes. I'm just trying to see if I can find that. Where is he? It must not be on this page. I'll look for it. The one that looks like the Denver one. So, okay. So that is what we have coming for the most part. We have a train show coming in March that we're going to. I reserved my tables yesterday in Rockford, Illinois. We're going to take 2 buildings. We're going to be printing between now and March. We're going to have 8 of our skyscrapers done on the layout, and we're taking 2, so I have 10 total done. And we're going to take 2 for sale down to the Rockford train show. So I'm not sure which ones we're going to take yet, but more than likely we're going to take the Artemis, because I just really love the look of that building, and maybe one of the new ones we've got coming, like maybe the Alexandria. But we're going to have 2 down there at the show. Now, at that show, we're going to be live both days, all day. We're going to set the camera up on our tables, and we're just going to let it go so you guys can watch the show if you want to, and hear the interactions, and then we'll pick the camera up from time to time. We'll go walk around the show. We're also going to get a ton of new videos for our layout, for our run videos. And that's coming up the end of March. End of February coming up here, we have the Mad City Train Show in Madison, Wisconsin. There'll be all the manufacturers come to that one, just like they do Train Fest. So,
Cincinnati train station would be a cool building to build.
yes, the Cincinnati train station is really cool. I've seen a file for it. It's a toss-up. What we may wind up doing is down here where we're going to have our huge passenger station. I may design that in a way where it may not be truly prototypical to the way the layout is for the stations in their own cities, like the Cincinnati one or whatever. But I'll get it to where I can actually trade the station out, because the station that's in San Diego is spectacular, as is the LA station. And the Chicago one, the St. Louis one is beautiful. So I plan on building a number of stations, and I'll create an area to where I can, like maybe have 2 tracks that come in for the passenger line, just a generic one type of track plan fits all type of thing, and then where I can just change the stations out back behind. So I don't want to be stuck with just one permanently. So I'll make it to where I can just change out, and so depending upon where I feel like I want to have the trains be running to, that's what I'll put down there. So that's what I'm hoping to do, is just to make it really more appealing too for you guys to watch, because then you never know when you tune in what we're going to have on the layout. I'm going to have a few areas of industry where I can change the industries out. One day they may have an oil refinery, the next day there may be a cement plant. So it just depends. So we're going to have ways of doing that to where I can just have a base piece that the structure will be sitting on, that can just, I'll have a standard size area, hole made in the scenery, that I can just put a new piece on. Take it out and put a new one in, and it fits perfectly. And then if I'm going to have it sit like that for a couple of weeks, I may take a little bit of the ground covering, the sand, and I may seal the cracks up, that are around the edges of it. And then just vacuum that out when I take that one out and put the new one in. So there's going to be all kinds of ways of doing change outs on this, so that it makes it interesting for me too. So I'm not so bored. It's like, okay, I built my station, I'm done. Well, I want to build a bunch of stations. So that'll be a nice way for me to be able to do that. I don't think I'll ever have to worry about building any buildings again after I do this. I'll have all the buildings I'm ever going to want. So that will be done, but as far as the industries and the stations go, we're definitely gonna have an interchange way of changing them out and just making things interesting. So if one day I wanna run more hoppers, I can run more hoppers because I maybe have the cement plant going, or a huge grain complex or something like that. I can't hear you, the train's going by. Oh, let me come back down here, hang on. Since you won't get up and talk to me, I'll come over and okay, what you have? Yeah. You're gonna have to do a walk, you're gonna have to walk into the train, or you're gonna have to talk really loud. All right, so I think we're gonna get over to, that's looking really good. I'm gonna take that one off, though. It looks kind of funny in this view. I'm gonna take that one panel off. Looks like I have a building falling over. So I'll just remove that. I just had that up there so you can see about, well, so I can take measurements to see what I needed to do. So, yeah, let's just go ahead and go with the 8 high. 8 high, I'll be fine. For that second and final level of the second level. Okay. Yeah, so if you want to start printing that anytime, you can go ahead and print those 4 pieces off. Yeah, if you want to.
How much that stockyard in Chicago?
What, in Chicago?
Stockyard.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Freddie asked, are you going to do a Broadway limited, NCL steam engine company or not?
A Broadway Limited?
Yeah, steam engine.
Oh, probably. Yeah, I definitely plan on having a good handful of steam engines. So, yeah. We're gonna be doing some, getting some articulateds and some streamliners. Articulateds and streamliners is what I prefer, so that's what we'll be going with. I guess I don't need this up here anymore. That looks kind of silly. Boy, yeah, now looking down between these buildings, if I put a couple more back behind that are background buildings, it's gonna look like a really major city look to it. So, yeah. So by the time we actually come back for our next live stream, I will probably have this middle section done and in place up here. And I'm gonna put reinforcement underneath, right here in the middle, underneath the roof area, right here, to keep anything from sagging and all that. Because I did that right here. I don't know if you can see that or not. This black area right here is a big beam, tripled up plastic. Do a big beam across the middle right here to keep anything from sagging on the inside right there. So, and it's beams on their ends like that. So it'll never sag. And I really reinforce the ends of it on the plastic. So we'll do the same thing here because it's going to have to handle a lot of weight going up. But that should be pretty good. All right, so let's wind this. We'll come around one more time and then we'll wind this down. And then I'll go wash my hands from all that I've been doing and we will get to work on weathering the container cars. And then that way I can get those done and I'll show you the CSX that I finished. We did that on the last time we were doing stuff. I'll show you how it came out. And then those 3 cars will be added to the back of this train, probably next time we have a run. All what in a few buildings?
All woods.
Oh, okay. All right. Just don't remember to turn the tire pack off.
Yes.
I forgot I left them on for like 3 days. So, all right. So I'm just going to go ahead and cover.
It says Spiffy for sure.
Oh, well, thank you.
Taylor says I like the traffic continuing all the time here.
Yes. Yeah. We when we run it, see my top tracks up here are our staging tracks. I'll show you. I'll give everybody a quick tour of the layout before we head to working on the weathering on the cars. So I'll just pick up the camera and I'll just start pointing at stuff and let you guys know what is what. What is what? Who is who? Okay. So It's amazing. I now have to kind of tip the camera back to get all of the buildings in place. All right, so again, this is going to be our city center area. We'll have 7 to 8 of our 20 to 30 skyscrapers will be all in this area right here, with them all kind of fanning out over in this area over here. This right here is our, look at that bow I'm going to have to take care of. This is all our staging area right here, all along this. This is where we're going to put all of our switches in. It's going to be along this area right here, so we can switch things back around. Stuff will get started up here on this area. We'll start getting things running up here. Then we'll switch out here. And this will be going over to our helix, which is going to be right here. And this helix will be, it'll get you up to the upper levels here, but it'll also get you to the lower level that's down here. This lower level is what I was talking about. This whole back area right here is all going to be mountain, back through here, and gorges with bridges and tunnels. And this will all be industry along here. And those stations I was telling you about, they're all going to be right over in here along with the yards. We'll be able to switch out the stations and all that right there. So that's what we've got coming. Like I said, between 25 and 30 of the huge skyscrapers. This one now is going to be standing. I'll have to move this light over so we can actually see it, but it'll actually be almost about right here, about that much taller than the Mako building. It'll be about right there. These are where this is where the Gemini building is going to go. This is actually the convention center. So this is going to be the twin towers that are going to go up right here that I showed you just now, that are going to head up this way, probably about like this tall. The two right there with a little larger section behind for the actual convention center. So that will be that. So now what we're going to do today is, you can see right here, this was, I'm going to come inside. Well, no, I'm not going to come inside. But I'm going to weather these 2 cars right here so that they match the weathering I did on the containers that go with them. So I have all 3 containers here ready to go, because I'm going to have a single container and a double container, and I've weighted. This one has the weights in it, and this one has the weights in it. So we're going to get the black put on this, and I'll show you how we do that, how we accomplish that to get the final look. And of course, we got to do all of the rusting that you see here on all of these walkways. So we'll get that all done. And then that way I can hook these guys all up, and I can add them to that train we were just running that had the auto carriers and the stack cars on them. So that's what we're going to do for the remainder of today. Is we'll just get the black put on this, on these guys right here. I didn't realize we've already been going live for 2 hours and 47 minutes. Boy, almost 3 hours here. So what is that? So we're what, sitting at about 1:30? 1:18. Okay. So we'll probably go to about 2 today. That's about what it's going to take to do these cars right here. And then this week we'll do a live session, and then we'll do a little more running on that one, because I'll come in here and I'll get my tracks corrected. And I'm going to start doing I'll get this finished later this week. We may show that or may not, but then I'll start working on the road bed so I get all the track locked into place. So we'll be doing all of that. And then I'll be starting on my double track, elevated track that's right here. We're going to be moving this over a little bit and having a second track, and this will go back behind all the buildings, and it'll service all this. We'll have some little stations and stuff, and then there'll be a big station where the convention center is actually mixed in with the building, and then it'll come out over here and then come across here. So we've got all kinds of stuff coming. So let me get the phone set back up, and we will do a little bit of weathering today. Okay. Well, we never zoomed out, I don't think. Which is probably why I had to pull the camera back quite a ways. So, yep. So did you get the printing going?
Yeah, I'm getting it set up.
Set up? Okay.
Crashed.
Huh?
It crashed.
Oh, did it?
Uh-huh.
Was it an update?
No, it just closed. I was repairing one of the objects and it just...
Oh. Did you get all restarted?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So,
Hello, everyone. Hello, Crochet Lady. How you doing? Albert says, nice planned layout.
oh, well, thank you.
Oh, yeah, that looks fine.
All right.
Perfect.
So, you stay here and talk for a minute, because I'm going to go wash my hands, because I don't want to handle anything. Let me get everything back in place before I do that that's dirty here, so I don't have to worry about that with my hands. So I don't like touching any of the cars and stuff I'm working on when I've been working with glues and adhesives and dirt off the layout and all that kind of stuff. So I don't like doing that. So I'm just gonna go wash my hands real quick and they'll be ready to go. All right.
Hi, everyone. He's just washing his hands. But thanks for tuning in so far. I'm the one managing the live chat and commenting. I'm really impressed with how that building's turning out. All I see from there, Arsky, Crochet Lady, Albert. Hi there.
All right. Squeeze
Whoop,
by
yep,
real quick.
yep.
You're fine. Just gonna duck under and I'm good to go. All right. So we're going
Well,
to.
thank you. Yeah, it's Dad's been doing a good job with it.
Well, you've been taking care of all the prints. I
Yeah.
never have all this without that. Okay.
It's a joint effort. Should I zoom it in a little bit more, guys?
I'm gonna put the car down there, and then they can tell you if you want it zoomed in or not.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You gotta find. Here we go.
RC says, yes, a great team.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
So that explains why I had to back it up and I had to
There we
tip the
go.
thing way back and I couldn't see the top, so because we were still zoomed in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're good now. I'll just have to remember that.
There we go. Yeah, just
Okay,
there we go. That looks
a little better.
uh,
All right. So as per usual, I've got my paper towel.
Crochet
Yeah.
Lady says I like the top design for the Leviathan.
Yeah, the top design on that's really cool. On that building, it's going to be a neat one. Where it's going to be a really good project when we get it done.
Did you weather this hooker?
No, I bought it that way.
Oh, okay.
Hooker tank car, everybody.
Yeah. Hooker tank car.
Yeah. Okay, I gotta find where's my brush that I was using? Is this it? Oh, this must be it.
Arsky asks, what's your thoughts on weathering chalk?
The thing I found about pastels and chalk, and you can ask anybody this, is when you go to if you go to put a flat finish on them to seal them, you'll lose about 80 to 90% of the powder. So you spend all that time working with it, and they look great. I used to love to do it, but then I go and I put my sealer coat on there so I can handle them and don't have to worry about stuff coming off. And then that happens. So that's why I just do everything with acrylics, because then when I go to seal them, it's just paint on paint. So that's anything just dusty wise, it just has a tendency just to die. I don't know why that is, because you see old pastel, but of course they didn't use a whole lot of fixatives. I've seen really, really old pastel paintings in museums, art museums, and you can actually see the pastel down inside the frame. So they didn't use any kind of a fixative, and that's why the colors stayed the way they are. But for something like this, where you're handling them and you're doing things, and you want to make sure you don't take it off, you don't have it all over your hands, and it goes everywhere. It's just kind of a rough medium to work with.
Albert says, I'm extremely impressed with the detail.
Oh, well, thank you, Albert. We're getting there. We're getting there. I learn new stuff every day. So when I do, I'm never too old to learn something new. I'm always reading on the newest techniques and see if they work with my style of doing stuff. And if it does, then I add it into the repertoire.
Ersky says we don't judge here on the live feed. Different story.
Okay.
Oh, probably Siri.
Oh, okay. All right, so I've got my little tiny brush that I use. This is what I'll use for doing all of the areas right here. And I'll hold this up to the camera so you can see stuff a little bit better. But we're going to start with the sides, and then we're going to go to the walkways. So I put a good dollop to get started with. And then I'm going to turn this into an inconsistency. Half of it into an inconsistency and half of it just like the regular paint is. Okay, now that I don't have the train going, if you want to sit in there, I'll be able to hear any of the questions.
Yeah, I just want to make sure it looks okay on camera.
Okay. Is this looking all right?
Yeah.
All right. Get all this down to a good...
Oh, he's referencing the tanker. We don't judge.
No, we don't. Life choices are life choices.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's really weird, though.
It's a black something that he smudged on it to try to make weathering out of it.
Yeah,
it looks terrible.
Yeah.
I'll have to fix it later. I bought it used, and that was one that came in that set from the lady.
Oh,
Diane.
Oh, yeah.
And so I don't know what her husband did with those. I'll get it fixed.
Kind of hold it up to the camera.
Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah, I'm not sure how well it's going to come across, but there is, I don't know if you can see it, but there's just schmutz all over the top.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it weathering.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
So here we go. So, since that light made things kind of go freaky, I won't turn that light on. So this will go a little slower because I'll have to really work with the other lights I've got around. All right, so what we're going to do, you should probably be able to see at least some of this. You can see like some white areas right here. We've got the rusted areas right here. So now what we're going to get ready to do is we're getting ready to put the black over the top. I have the inconsistency black paint ready to go. So all we're going to do now, this is like I've told you guys in the past, you have to trust in the process because it's going to look terrible to start off with. So I just had to experiment on my own, get yourself some used cars, some cheap cars, and work out a pattern that works best for you. Here we go. And what I'm doing is I'm very light touch. Unless I'm really trying to get most of it off, like right in that area, I barely touch it with the brush and I lift as I get down towards the end. More pressure at the top and lift as you get down so that you have more of your weathering down at the bottom than you do at the top. That's looking all right. So all I want to do here is go in. Boy, the floaters in the eyes are just being lovely today. I'm going to go in. I'm going to get my... I'm just not going to turn the light on, but I am going to get my magnifier here so I can see what I'm doing. Oh, that's just terrible. Can't see anything with that unless I get the light on. So, all right. We'll see what I can do. I want a little more black down here at this end, so I'm just going to put a couple little spots right there. And we're just going to come in here. We're going to pull that off the top. And we're just going to do that number right there. All I'm doing here is getting the paint off the brush. Now, I've got a little bit less paint here. I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to do a couple little spots. I'm going to clear the brush. And I'm just going to pull these areas off. But I'm leaving that right there where like the dirt is streaked down from that area. Yeah, that's starting to get there. Okay.
She said trust the process.
You have to. You gotta. Trust the process. Now you see how I'm starting out here and I'm working my way back to where the darkest of the paint is. I always start trying to go where I want to take it off the most. And then that way there's paint on this brush as I'm working my way back. So you don't take everything off back here. You're just kind of dabbing it off mostly. Now I'm going to turn it onto its side. So I'm getting the end. So I'm going to just take and I'm going to do a little streak right here like this. You see what I did is that gave me a nice little weathering streak coming off this point right here. And that looks really nice right there. And I'm going to get a little bit of that off around those areas, just dabbing it off with a clean brush. Now we'll just come right like this. There we go. Now we've got some nice dark areas coming in right here. We've got a lot of it in the back area here, which is where I like it because that's all around the trucks. Usually that's usually a little dirtier right there. I'm going to put a couple little streaks in right here. Let me see if I've got enough ink or enough. Nope, I don't have enough paint on here. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of paint. I'm just going to do a spot right there. And then this side's done. And what you got to do is you just have to make sure you drag this down perpendicular to the sides. So you get a nice straight streak down the sides. Takes a little bit of practice, but it's not that hard to do. There we go. Getting pretty good. I'm gonna just move down a little bit here. Just gonna work that down just a little bit like that. There we go. Oh yeah, that's looking pretty good. I think I'm gonna add a little more right to this end. I didn't quite get the effect I want because this black really helps the rust color you have. So you just want to make sure you get enough on here.
Albert says impressive technique.
Oh, thank you, Albert. And again, I've never used an airbrush. I mean, I have, but when I started doing it this way, I've never gone back to using an airbrush for any of my weathering projects. Always been just with a paintbrush. And this works no matter what scale you're doing. You just use a little bit bigger of a brush. So instead of something like this, you'd use, for HO, you'd use something like that. All right, so I think that's pretty good. I like how that's looking. So we'll spin it around and we'll do the other side. And then we'll catch the interior and then I'll start working on this and I'll show you how you get the walkways to looking really good. We'll have to mix up a little bit of the rust. I'm going to come in here with just a little bit of black and tone some of that white down. So it's just not so obvious. There we go. There. Yeah. Now I'm just going to get that right there. That gave me another little streak coming down the side right there. That looks really nice. Okay, I'd say that side's pretty well done. We've got some really good colors going on right there. We've got our rust, we've got our blacks, we've got our white fade outs. Everything is working really good on that side. Let's flip it over. We'll do the other side. And this will, here, get that up so you can, hopefully you can see that it focuses in on it. I don't know if it is or it isn't, but I'll give you a second there. Okay, so let's do the other side. Now this side I'm going to do a little more black. I changed things up on the sides so when these things are coupled up next to each other, you can have it to where they're not the same. You don't just have all of them have just a little bit of black at the one end. I'm going to put a little more in the middle here on this one. And just think about those kind of things, how it's going to look in your consist. next to other ones of its type that you've got. That's looking pretty good. I really like, boy, that really came out nice right there. All right, so this time I'm going to make sure starting about right here, I think I'm going to do a bigger area right here. We'll just, now I'll put a lot of pressure on here so I can get rid of a lot of that that's right there, and then I'll go lighter where I want the black really to be, like that. I'll turn it on its side, and we'll kind of come between these two areas right here. How are we doing that way? That's looking pretty good. Let's give me a nice area here, a little bit in the middle. Got my white areas. I'm not going to touch this white area at all. I like how that looks. Probably the same thing here. So now we'll just get this end over here. I'm going to try to get some of these streaks to really stand out now. There we go. A little more of the red to come out right there. Yeah, there we are. That's got the streaking going. Okay. So now we will do this end. Catch the grab irons and the steps. There we go. I'm going to make it this one where these guides are for the containers. I'm going to make a little streak there on either side. We're just going to pull that right there, and then we'll just kind of pop this off right there. Get these little grab irons cleaned off a little bit, dab it. There we go. Yeah, I say I got a nice little streak right here coming off of that. Got some good stuff going on in the middle, and we've got some on that side over there. So it's looking, I'm pretty pleased. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit right here. Just going to do a quick little line right here. There we go. Oh, thank you, Albert. There we are. See how I'm doing here. I got to kind of look at it a little visually myself now. Make sure I'm getting done what I want done. Yes. Okay, yep, I got a nice dark area here, dark area here, dark area there. So that's pretty good. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to leave, I think maybe I'll just put a little black right here over that white. I noticed I was going to leave a lot of it. I am, but I'm just going to tone that down just a little bit. There we go. Well, that looks better. Okay, so there's a nice side right there. So now what you got to do is, before we get to the ends, is we got to get the inside done. So it's basically the same thing, and I just come in here and I really lay in a pretty decent amount of the black. You can see that. You should be able to see that on the camera. And then this just takes a little bit to work this back out because I've got a lot in here. Because there's gonna be this is the working end of it. I mean, this is where everything happens. The containers go in and out of here. So this is where you're gonna have a lot of the dirt. So we're just gonna pull all of this. And if you find you're not able to get enough up and off, switch, get a little bit bigger, just help along. There we go. There we go. Now we're starting to pull some out of here. Finally. And it just lets what settles in the bottom, you just leave it there. All I'm concerned with are the sides that may be seen if you don't have a container in it. There. Okay. And you can see inside there how we kind of have that going now. All right, so then I'm going to clean this brush off. Set it aside for a minute. Now, I always kind of check and make sure my top edge right here isn't getting too dark. If it is, then you just take you get real close to where the bristles come into the brush right here, and you just kind of scrub it. And you can pull a lot of that paint right back off of there, and you can get back down to the original color, which is what I did right there, and that came out perfect. So that's how you do that. All right, so we'll get the other side on the inside, and then we'll get these ends with these walkways. All right. I'm not even going to waste my time trying to take it off with this one. I'll just go to the big brush. Around a little bit, get that right there. Good grip on it, and here we go. I'm just gonna, there we are. Should have just done that the first time. Okay. So again, there's the black on the inside of the car. All right, so now we're going to deal with the ends. So now we're going to change over to the little brush. Tiny little brush. Get these other brushes all cleaned and out of the way. I'm not going to need those for right now. All right, so these all walkways, both HO and N, have those little holes and stuff that you've got. So you want your inconsistency paint real thin. Get your brush loaded up. And it'll be hard without the magnifier. We're just going to fill all those holes up. Just like that. And we're going to come down in here. We're going to get that one. Get this one. We're going to get those along there. That. As it starts to dry, you just come back in and you want to try to get as much off. Brush flat against the surface as much as you can, because you don't want to pull the black out of all those little holes. So what you want to do is you're just trying to get the black off the surface. So you just drag it. And that usually keeps the black down in there and gets it off, so some of that silver starts to come back. Doesn't really matter if it does or doesn't, because you got to think most of it isn't really so much anymore anyway in real life. It's gotten black from use, weather, with the people walking on it and stuff. That looks pretty good right there. Let me see here. I got to turn this on for a sec. Okay. Yep, that's looking fine. All right. So now I'm going to get all of this equipment right here. These are the compressors, brakes, all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to, all I do is I just kind of do a quick drag of the black paint over everything. And then I'll come and I'll dab off in a few spots. And you get down on these areas too, where the flat area is of the car itself. Make sure you get those areas. All right, so now we'll just come in here and we will just start to take, by just dabbing this now that the brush, I get the brush dry over here on the paper towel, then we just come back in and we just take a little bit of that black back off. Take some off the top right up here, so the red comes through again. Get the areas there done. I'm going to have to do this for just a sec again. I can't see with no light. It's not working. Get in this area right here. Get that. Do those areas right there. And we are going to come back over with rust in a lot of these areas. So it's just, okay. That's pretty good. I'm happy with that. Yeah, that Whistler layout that we saw in Janesville was a pretty cool layout. There were some pretty good weathered cars there, though. Okay. So there we go. All right, so that back one is done. So now I'll go do this other. This other side's a lot easier because it doesn't have all these little components and everything that you got to deal with here. There we go. And that gives this side time to dry before we start putting the rust back around. All right, so now we'll just fill this in. That's again just nice and flat. The brush, so you can pull everything off except what's down in those holes. There we go. Okay. We'll get this here, this one here, this one here, this one here, and then this guy here. Same thing. Just lather the brush, get rid of all the surface black. That's looking pretty good. There we go. Nice. Get that off that. And just do these very ends right down here where the couplers are. And then we'll just take this and we will run it right here across the platform area. And we will just come back in and pull a lot of that off. Okay. So that pretty much takes care of most surfaces of the car. So now what we have to do is we've got to come in here and we've got to touch up the rust. Touch up the rust. So I'm going to mix up a tiny little batch of rust because all I'm going to do is just this car for today. I'll put this guy over here. That out of the way. Get my other bowl. Switch out my water. Let's see, where's my paint? Here. And this is the one that's open, and this one. There we go. All right, so as per last time, my two colors I use are burnt orange and honey brown. Americana Deco Art. Shake them up. Okay, so we're gonna just mix up a tiny little batch of it. Doesn't take much when we get to this stage. All right, so now we're gonna swap. I'm gonna get my paper towel that I've got my mostly orange on. And we're gonna just mix this together. Gonna have to add a little more honey brown to that. Still just a little too of the orange. When you do enough of this mixing and stuff, you'll get to where you can just look at it and say, oh, that's not enough. Or that's too much and you got to thin it with another color. So there we go. All right, so same thing as before. We're just going to get one end here that's going to be mostly the liquid paint. Perfect. So we're going to be doing a lot of dry brush with what we're getting ready to do here. So you don't need a whole lot of liquidy stuff. That all off of there. All right, so now then, I am going to have this on. I'm getting down to the nitty gritty here. So I apologize about the look, but I'll show it all to you here in a minute. You should still be able to see what I'm doing. So I'm getting some paint, and I'm wiping most of it off. So now what I do is all my joint areas where these plates come together, I'm going to be doing some rust. There's lots of wear right there. And along the edges, I'm going to get all of these edges right here done. And you can come up a little bit onto the screening itself. And again, I'm sorry if it's like the camera's like freaking out with this light, but I kind of have to have this right now. I'm going to do a little bit of brushing there, a little bit of brushing there. I do a little bit on the surface right there. I'm going to come out here on the ends. I'm going to get the ends on these walkways right here. I'm going to get, I have a pattern, I just do it all. You do enough of these, you just know where you got to go and what you got to do. Got a little too much, didn't get it wiped off enough. There we go. Get it down in here, across here, and then right here on that edge. Okay, now, then I need to turn it this way just a little bit. And we're just going to come right along here. I mixed up way too much paint. That's right, it's only 60 cents a bottle, so I just hate wasting it. All right, now I'm going to come back along this, these brake cylinders and stuff, and the mechanicals here, and I'm just going to put rust on all of the raised highlight areas.
Albert asked, did you watch videos or take a class on how to leather stuff?
No, I didn't take any classes on this. This is just all stuff I've developed from my days of being an artist. I've done, if you saw like the background, that artwork that was in the background, those are some of the original pieces I've done. I was an artist for like 40 years, 30, 40 years, and did about 140, 150 train pieces, real train pieces. So I just use the techniques I developed there, here. And so I'm just trying to pass on those techniques so you guys don't have to spend 30 to 40 years trying to figure this stuff out. Just learn from what I, all my experience on all that was. All right.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to get these little edges. I always get the edges that face out because it's just a nice highlight. So I will be rusting up all of these edges right along here. Between those right there, flip it over. Same thing on this side. There we go. Nope, all these techniques is just stuff I've developed over the years. Some techniques I'm not going to ever show because they're just more my signature stuff, but things like this, don't mind showing this because this is just simple, easy stuff that anybody can do, and it just makes a world of difference. Now I'm just kind of looking at it here. All right, I don't know if that light's really freaking out or not, but okay. You can really see how nice this rust come in around the edges. I've got a few things here, a few areas on the grill itself.
Says you're totally awesome for doing that. Speaking of your pupils, LOL.
Oh, no problem. Who said that?
Albert.
Oh, well, thank you, Albert. No problem. I mean, this is just, I don't mind sharing. Some things I won't, but I do share a lot of stuff. But there we go. Nice, there we go. All right, now I'm just going to get a little bit right here on top where the coupler is. Don't forget to get the back sides of these handrails. There we go. All right, that came out really good. I'm pretty happy with that. I don't know if you're gonna be able to really see that on there or not, but it just flowed, everything just went really well. We'll get this end done here, and this car will be just about finished. Yeah, that came out really good. You can see all the rust right along here. I've put a lot on these areas right here. That all came out really, really good. So now we just want to get this end down here finished up. So again, we're just going to draw the lines around. What I'm basically doing is I'm framing each piece. So I'm going along the edges of each piece. And then I'll put a little bit on the surface itself. But for the most part, we're just framing it. That's all you have to do. And then once you're done doing that,
then says everyone else should make it their own anyway.
Exactly.
I believe.
Yeah.
RC says, heck, I can't draw stick figures.
Oh, I've heard that a lot. Everybody has an artist in them, trust me. I've taught enough people over the years. Same thing, they didn't think they could do it, then they start doing it, and it's like, oh, I didn't know I could do that. You just got to take time and take the practice. That's all it is. Now we're going to get that. Now I'm going to come in here, like I said, I'm just going to brush a little bit right here on this top surface in a couple of spots, like a little bit of rust buildup. If you were here in person, you'd really be able to see what's happening here. There's just a lot going on that I know the camera isn't going to cover.
Howard says you can't give away all your trade secrets.
Nope, not going to give them all away, but I'll give a lot of them away. Enough where you guys can, like you said, make your own off of it. Do some, experiment, and I'm giving you enough to get a really good foundation going for doing stuff like this. And we're just going to come across, whoops, a little too thick rust there. That's easy enough to take care of. We'll just kind of come in here and just going to wipe that out. Just come in and do that. There we go. There we are. Perfect. Okay. So now we'll get these side areas right here and here. Whoops, need to get that area. Didn't realize it went all the way up there. Okay, there we go. All right, so now I get these. Let's see. Yeah, make sure I get the ends. Make sure any place that's really going to be visible, you make sure you get.
Crochet Lady says I can draw flies on a really hot day.
All right. All right, so let's get these little ends here. And this will just about be done. We'll set a container in it and see how it looks. There we go. Do a few little areas there on the grab irons. There we are. A couple on the back side here. Drag them up. A few on the front. Just a little bit right down there. Make sure you get all the ends. That's got it. Okay. I think we got this. A little more, not quite enough. Right here on this edge. There we go. Okay. That's it. All right. So you can see how that just, I'm going to put a little more right here on the tops. Just some cross like that. There we go. Maybe a little bit right here. There. Perfect. All right, let's put a container in it and see what it looks like. Let's see, we will put, which is the bottom one? This one. All right, let's take a look. All right. we got some really great weathering. Went down the sides there, all the streaks. The container has great weathering on it. I'm happy with all that. So this came in beautifully. All this rust right here looks wonderful. Calling rust wonderful. So when we do, yeah, it does. The magnifier definitely helps. Thank you. All right, there's what we got. So that's basically the next container card finished. All I gotta do is just pop the. Well, I'll have to map code everything. That'll be a while yet. I do the idea of this, handle them carefully with clean until I get to the point of getting them all sealed up. But that's that side, and this is this side, so it all is nice and matching. Yeah, we've got. Let's see here. We've got great. There's the ends. Let's see if I can tip this so you can see the ends. There's how it looks with the ends, with all the weathering on the ends of the containers. The same down at this end right there. And then this is the technique I'm not going to show how to do. But if you just do the streaking technique like I did, you'll still get a decent effect. Because this is just something that really distinguishes which containers that are out there that I've done. So anyway, I'm pleased with that. So you can definitely see here. This is how we started today. This is exactly what we started with. And let me take the container out, so we're just comparing with the container. There's where we're at now. You can definitely see all the black got added in. Here is the tops, the walkways. You can really see the difference on that, how that came out. Flip it around, give you that idea right there. You can see the interior of the container well versus that. So it's all good to go. That one's pretty much done. So I just have to do the same thing with that one. All right, everybody. I'm pretty tired. Battling with that big building today was a lot. So I'm.
Nathan asks, what is this?
We were weathering model trains is what we were doing. We've been working on this for about a half an hour now. We were working on the city earlier. So we've been just working on the layout today. We were doing a lot of building and painting, and so we are really good to go. So I think.
It says, dude, those are sick. Did you make them?
These are kits that I bought, but I did all of the weathering and everything to give it the realism look that there is on here. So I took just basic kits and weathered them up, is what I did. So now they'll match the rest of my cars that I have on my layout. I don't like having clean cars, so everything's going to get done like this. Let me give another quick tour around the layout. So here I'm on this side now. You can see, you'll be able to see the CSX from the other day. All right, how do I zoom? Oh, I always zoom out. Yeah.
Albert says, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome, Albert.
Andrew says, sweet.
Well, thank you. So here is the CSX that we finished the other day. There's a weather DTI. I had the truck fall off. I just got to get that put back on there. So what we're trying to do is just get everything till all the cars are weathered like this. Like I've got my coal cars here that are all weathered up and got the custom coal loads in them. So we're just trying to get everything to look the same.
Just to say, Amber says, thanks, great time watching today. See you next time. What's your normal streaming schedule?
Oh, okay. Amber, our normal streaming was almost always on Sundays, usually about 10:30 or 11 o'clock in the morning until mid-afternoon. So we're gonna try to put 2 in during the week. Usually we do one on a Tuesday, and then we're usually not sure after that what we do after that, which other day. But they'll be usually like a Tuesday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Friday, and then the either Saturday or Sunday. But we always do put up a notice well in advance. So if you like and subscribe and hit the notification thing, you won't miss any of the streams. So that's so much easier. Yeah, that zoom in now you can see everything. So if you if you like and subscribe, you'll be able to see it. But we are going to try to get an average of about 3 streams a week. And we're going to be working on stuff. We're going to be running stuff. We're going to try doing another run night, but we may do one on a weekend. So we may do like 2 or 3 streams on a weekend. We may try like a Friday or a Saturday night around maybe 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. which would be morning in Europe and like 7 o'clock on the West Coast. So we'll throw that in. That we don't really count that in the runs, so or in the live streams, the run video, the run periods. So you could even say we're going to be doing like 4 a week or so. We've been doing 2 to 3. So that's where we're at. But for as far as build goes, I think our next build that we'll do is we'll probably get. If we don't do it with, if I don't finish it before our next one, we'll tackle the second level of the new big building right here. Because we've got part of the pieces already done. They're right here. I just have to, we're in the middle of printing the rest. This goes up almost too high right here, two levels. So another one about like right here, and then we go on up with the upper part. So we may be doing the rest of that build this week on our next live stream. Probably some more scenery. I'm getting to where I want to get back to doing some scenery, so probably doing some of the dirt and all that kind of stuff along here. And probably get my track straightened and start putting roadbed down so I don't have to worry about the track bowing and doing stuff.
Albert says, cool, that sounds great.
Ah, great.
Albert says, I'll be back to watch again. Totally impressed. Thank you.
Oh, well, I'm glad. Thank you, Albert. And thank you again to those that did the little gifts and stuff today. We put all of it right back into the layout so we can create more content and do more things. So appreciate it. So we will be here more likely for sure Tuesday. I put about 90% chance on Tuesday being here. So, but then after that, it'll just kind of hit and miss. But then Tuesday and Sundays are pretty much the guaranteed days. And after that, it just kind of, but you'll get the notices. So as long as you liked and subscribed and did the notifications, you'll know when we're going live. So we'll just keep filling in here. We'll just keep doing more and more stuff as you guys are along with us. Like I said, we're going to start on the Gemini towers here pretty quick. We'll get the Leviathan finished, and we'll start on this in the next week. So within a week and a half, we'll have probably 2 more huge buildings done. So
Albert says, I appreciate you.
oh, well, thank you, Albert. I appreciate you guys for coming and being with us. It helps take some time off when I'm sitting here and not going crazy working on these things and being in my own head. So it helps.
Crochet Lady says, good grief, that view's impressive.
Oh, I know. It's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. So now I really want to get the Leviathan done. So
Arsky says, Lord's willing, see you next Sunday. I work my real job during the week.
okay. Well, and we may do some on the evenings. Like I said, we will, when we do a live run, we'll probably do an evening run on those things. So if you're get in, you'll probably have time. Otherwise, we'll see you on the weekends. So anyway, thanks everybody, and hope you have a good, safe week, and be careful out there with all that snow and the ice and everything. Be very, very careful. And then we'll see you in a day or two. Thanks.